through the things they value most: friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Has Mother Nature taken a toll on your home? Whether it's storm damage, wear and tear, or just the passage of time, Baker Home Exteriors is Raleigh's trusted expert for all your home repair needs. From roofs, gutters, and siding, to doors, windows, and decks, we have the experience to restore your home. But we don't just fix problems, we improve your home's resilience and aesthetics, giving you peace of mind and pride in your property. Visit bakerroofing.com to schedule your repair service today.
Get the Honda of your dreams during Happy Honda Days with a sporty new Civic, Accord, HR-V, or CR-V. For a limited time, well-qualified buyers can get a 2.9% APR on a 2025 Honda Accord or CR-V, a 4.9% APR on a 2025 Civic, and a 3.9% APR on a 2025 HR-V.
Brought to you by your local Carolina Honda dealers. Contact your local Carolina Honda dealer today.
See dealer for financing details. Exclude Civic Si and Type R.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer? Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now, during our Black Friday sale, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Plus free home delivery when you add a base. And Cyber Monday. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice. But now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to hims.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy.
Discover the thrill of precision and elegance with Omega this holiday season. From the depths of the ocean to the heights of space, Omega's Seamaster and Speedmaster collections are crafted for those who dare to explore. With a heritage rooted in innovation and a timeless style inspired by sports, space, and cinematic legends, Omega is the gift for every adventurer. Find your perfect watch at Bailey's Fine Jewelry, voted best jeweler. Learn more at baileybox.com.
The next disaster is coming. Make a plan. Keep extra medication on hand. Make copies of important documents. Stay informed and be ready. Learn more at americares.org/send-us-in.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com. WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
When they were trying to get Mac out of the job, I'd lie to you not. He jumped on a plane and flew to Miami and went to Central High School for Dalvin Cook to watch him practice. The school did not recruit the state of Florida. He knew what time it was and he fled. I called somebody at the school and was like, has he ever been there? And the guy was like, not in the 5 years that I've worked here. He ran away from his whooping. He's not going to walk. And honestly, the fact that they haven't fired him already indicates to me that Bubba's not going to do it.
Yeah.
Because in this day and age, if you're going to fire the coach, you got to do it now for recruiting purposes, and they haven't done it.
That was Bomani Jones yesterday. Hi, everyone. It's the Adam Gold Show on a Friday.
A Friday.
There you go. I actually said it yesterday. You remember?
I know.
At the end of the show.
I was so proud of you.
Oh, you weren't.
I'm
we're
breaking
not.
you down. It's Friday.
Yeah, well, there is that possibility.
Oh, man.
I'm Adam Gold. That is Victoria.
It's great.
Early screen appearance, by the way, I see. Already on split screen.
I know. Look
Very
at
nice.
this.
Maybe they fixed it. Maybe they as soon as you talk, boom,
Yeah.
there she
Boom.
is.
There she is. That's
Like, you shouldn't just have a voice somewhere off in the ether.
I know.
Hope everybody is well. Again, congratulations. You have negotiated the first 4 days of the week, and we are here at your weekend where, NC State won't lose this weekend.
That's a plus.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the game because I thought there was, look, if you wanted to play silver lining, not moral victory, silver lining, there was some good. I thought there was some good there. But anyway, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the Canes. We'll talk college football in general. Roddy Jones, a Georgia Tech legend, he will join us today. And the Yellow Jackets, it's a pretty nice little season that they're putting together. They, at times, over the last several years, have been booty.
It's a good way to do it.
And when I talk and have talked about what the ACC needs to repair its image in football terms, I always talk about the football brands have to be good. And if you look at the current state of ACC football or the current makeup of the conference, not the current state of ACC football, the current makeup of the conference, your football brands are basically in 4 spots. And this is not, maybe 5. It's not necessarily, in this order, but Clemson, Florida State, Miami, Virginia Tech, to slightly lesser extents, Pitt, Louisville. Those schools got to be good. And then you get into the next tier of the league in terms of football, and Georgia Tech's in it. Georgia Tech needs to be good. They don't have to be 10-win good, but they need to be good. You got a school that plays in Atlanta, a college football hotbed, a state like Georgia, which not only provides tons of football players across the country for colleges, but is, I believe, the 4th most, the 4th largest home state for NFL players. North Carolina's 5. NC State and UNC are in that group, by the way, of that second grouping of schools that need to be good. Again, you don't need to be great. You just need to be good. And if we can get some of these schools up to their normal standards, then the league will be better. The league will look better. Then we schedule appropriately. Virginia doesn't play the likes of Tennessee because it doesn't do you any good to get bludgeoned by a team like that. You schedule smartly. Anyway, that's the formula to get back to being not a laughingstock, not have your one-loss team be viewed as a group of 5 team, which is exactly what they're doing with SMU. They look at SMU as a group of 5 team. They don't look at it like a power conference team. Because if you put Clemson in Clemson's uniforms in SMU's season, the Tigers would be 8th.
Yeah.
Not 17th. Or whatever SMU is. I believe that. The rankings, whether it's the opinion polls or the college football playoff opinion polls, because that's all it is, they see the laundry. They see the uniforms. They see the school names and the coach. They see all that. Because if you stripped the names off of all of the teams and just forced these people to use the data, they would come up with a different set of rankings. They just would. Texas wouldn't be 3. Texas would be further down the list. Georgia would be way ahead of Texas.
Yes.
But Georgia's got 2 losses. No, whatever. I'm not going to get myself worked up over it until we talk to Roddy Jones in the second hour.
Yes.
Brian Geisinger is going to talk basketball. We're going to discuss the ACC's not-so-good start. It isn't that Duke lost to Kentucky or that Carolina lost to Kansas. Duke, Arizona tonight is a big deal. And UNC going out and playing the Maui Invitational next week is a big deal. But we have absorbed losses as a league to the likes of North Florida and Jacksonville. Miami lost to Drake yesterday. Thank you. BC has lost to VCU, which, I don't know, they might have been an underdog in that game anyway. I don't really remember it. But Clemson lost to Boise State. You can't do it. So I was looking at the power rankings, and I'm not sure the cake's already baked. Yeah, looks like it. Looks like it. In terms of power rankings, the ACC has 4 teams in the top 40. The Big Ten has 8 teams in the top 40. The SEC, Big 12, I might have said Big 10. Big 12 has 8 teams in the top 40. The SEC has 10. Looking forward to the ACC-SEC challenge where we might already be in the position of needing the ACC to go, I don't know how many games there are. There's so many.
Right.
But the ACC might have to win 60% of them. Right? And we might be in that position because we know what's going to happen in the power. We know what's going to happen with the power rankings. NC State is still a few days away from playing a real team. They will play William and Mary tonight. Again, I understand, whole new roster, but ultimately NC State's playing another team that they should roll up the court with.
They should.
So let's do other things. NC State lost the quintessential college football game, and maybe more specifically, the quintessential Thursday night college football game. This is going to sound like I'm denigrating the sport, but I'm not. Because college football has an appeal that goes well beyond beautiful football. Because by and large, it isn't. There aren't that many teams that play great football. There are a lot of great players, but by and large, because of the nature of the sport, the youth of the players, the inexperience level, the transient nature of the sport, college football is filled with turnovers, inaccurate passing, broken plays that end up touchdowns. What was that formation?
Mm-hmm.
We see that more in college football than anything else, and we saw it at least twice last night for the Wolfpack, one that worked and one that didn't. We see questionable officiating, and yes, we see that at the NFL level as well, but I just wanted to throw it in because we're going to talk about it. And we see crazy comebacks. We've seen games where teams exchange touchdowns 3 times in the last 2 minutes. We see it all the time in college football. And basically, that was what we saw last night, all on full display. Mm-hmm. All of it. So if you were neither a fan of State or Georgia Tech, and you just watched that game because maybe you had a little FanDuel on it, or maybe you just like to watch college football, maybe you couldn't see through the snow.
Yeah.
In the Cleveland-Pittsburgh game.
The blizzard. Wow.
That's beautiful.
I loved it.
That's football.
I had to try and think when the last time I saw a football game like that was.
I'm trying to think. Snow game. Well, you get those in Denver a lot in October. Now, I'm going to guess. This is a quick aside. I'm going to guess, Victoria, that growing up.
Yes.
And you're still growing up. But growing up, you didn't play a lot of football outside, or did you?
Not a lot.
Okay.
Not a lot,
Like
no.
some do, some didn't. Mm-hmm. But as a kid, we used to play football outside all the time.
Right.
Right? When it snowed,
yeah,
it was a must.
Mm-hmm.
There was never a time where snow was falling and the time of, after school or on a weekend, we're like, we're playing football, right?
Right.
We're going to play football.
No, let's eat some soup.
Everyone, right, exactly. I mean, tomato soup with
grilled cheese?
Yeah, grilled cheese and cut off the crust. It was a must. It was the thing to do in the snow was to play football.
Mm-hmm. But not make snow cream in your house.
No, we'd never do that. Still wouldn't do that. It's gross. So it was cool to see.
Yeah.
Look, I had a Hurricanes game. When the Hurricanes game was over and I was done with the post-game show,
right,
I flipped on the state game and I watched the fourth quarter. So I didn't see any of the football, the NFL game live, but I saw the highlights, all that after, and it was just cool to see the game being played in the snow.
Oh yeah, it was fun.
The visibility for the players, way better than the visibility for TV.
Mm-hmm.
You can see through the snow. Maybe you can't see 50 yards down the field,
right?
But you can see well enough through the snow. Anyway, but it was just such a great visual.
And of course, the graphics on the field made the players look like ghosts. Because every time they'd go around the graphic, I'm like, whoa, where's Bill Cosby? Like the movie, it was funny. Ooh, it was great.
The first Bill Cosby reference in a while.
I know. Well, yes. Unfortunately, that was the only ghost person I could think of from that movie.
Okay, I didn't see the movie.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All I can say is, it's a shame that we can't watch the show.
I know.
It's not on anymore. Right. So I can't get my Malcolm Jamal Warner fix.
Yeah.
I can't get my Felicia Rashad fix.
Nope.
Come on.
Because he's creep.
Yeah. Beyond that.
Yeah, way beyond.
That's putting it nicely. That's putting it it's being very kind.
Yes.
To the word creep doing a lot of work there.
Sugarcoating.
All right, where was all right, so NC State. That was the perfect college football game. If you put college football in a time capsule, boom. The State Georgia Tech game is it. I'm sorry State lost it. They took the lead late with 1:30, and I was thinking, as Hollywood Smothers was running for the end zone, I was thinking, well, I didn't think this during the play. I was amazed at the play. I was thinking after he scored the touchdown, I went, 1:30, too much time. I wonder if he had just taken a knee at like the 2.
Mm-hmm.
If that wouldn't have been better. Could have missed the field goal. State's missed some field goals. Then that opens up a completely different set of problems. But yeah, they left too much time. Mm-hmm. And Georgia Tech went right down the field, couple of passes, two quarterback runs, and that was that. And then ultimately, they still almost won it.
They did.
They got in position and attempted a long field goal, and it was maybe 3 balls wide to the left, a 58-yard field goal. Looked like it was a 58-yard field goal into the wind, too.
Right, true.
And it was maybe 3 football widths left of the upright. It had enough distance. Here's Dave Doran on the final drive.
Felt like with 5 seconds, the field goal was the safest thing to do. If you throw it and they don't get out of bounds, the game's over. Obviously, clock operator has some things to do with that. And the thing I'm disappointed in is after the timeout, after we break the huddle, they come over and tell me they're adding a second to the clock. And, had I known there were 6 seconds, it would have been a different conversation. We could have thrown a quick out, had a little bit more cushion. I don't think people understand how precious every second is. And so I was disappointed in that. There was another time in the game where 3 seconds ran off after a punt. It was 2:43 on the clock, and they let it run down to 2:40, And these seconds matter. And so I say whatever you want about it, but to me that was bad clock operating by them.
He's not wrong.
No.
It's strange, though, after that game to make that an issue.
Yeah.
Dave Doran is not wrong. The clock operation maybe shouldn't be handled by maybe it should be handled by an independent auditor.
Right. Yes, a
I don't
third
know.
party.
Maybe it should be. Like, wait a second. I have an industry.
Yeah.
Professional
that's a side
clock
business.
operators.
I love this. This is what Fridays are made of.
Write it down. Write it down. This is our exit strategy, Victoria.
Exactly.
This is our exit strategy. I was thinking, what do I do when this is all over?
Right.
This is it.
Yes.
Now
me
we need
and
a lot of
my,
people. We need to employ a lot of people, though.
True.
Right.
We'll make a side hustle with the Panther be Pantherin merchandise because I still got to do that too.
Oh yeah, we'll have a gift shop.
So we'll have a gift shop.
We'll
with all
definitely
this
have a gift
stuff.
shop. Team store.
Yes.
All right. So it is interesting that I know he did address it later on about Georgia Tech just waltzing down the field to score after NC State took the lead with 1:30 left.
Yeah, I mean, I got the ball to the back, out of the backfield on us. A couple times we were in man coverage, and their back made plays. We weren't able to get to the quarterback and get him on the ground, and then he had a big scramble to win it, And we were in 2-man, 4-man rush, and he broke the pocket, and our 2 safeties have to come up and get him down, and we weren't able to do that.
Yeah, that was poor communication, poor planning, poor coverage, a lot of poor there. They contained him. The quarterback didn't get to the outside. That was it Shiloh, whatever is Philo, the other quarterback. It wasn't Haynes King at the for those drives. Matter of fact, Philo did most of the damage last night, not Haynes King. Yeah, but if you're only going to rush 4, where is everybody? Why was it so easy for him to run right down the field? Like the last 35 yards were 2 quarterback scrambles. That can't happen. Not in that situation. But it did. And it's kind of indicative of NC State's season, if you think about it. State gave Georgia Tech 2 touchdowns. Gave them 2 touchdowns. One on remember what I said before? What was that formation?
Yes.
Because that is all about college football. I didn't understand what they were doing. You got all the offensive linemen over here. You got, I get it. It's all goofy, right? But you know what goofy gets you? Goofy gets you that. It gets you a play where you're trying a shuffle pass. Is it shovel or shuffle? I think it's shovel. You're trying a little shovel pass to Casey Concepcion, but you're like a foot and a half away from the quarterback, and you're in 2 close quarters. Just hand him the ball. Hand it to him. So what happened was, because he was so close to C.J. Bailey, it wasn't perfect, so it kind of got caught up in his hand, and he flipped it up in the air, and then Bailey knocked it up in the air, and then it was picked off and run in for a touchdown. You handed him a touchdown, and then after the ball don't lie State red zone interception, because there is no doubt that there was offensive pass interference on the previous play. 0 doubt that was offensive pass interference that was not called. State got the end zone pick, the red zone pick, and they're in business. And then C.J. Bailey threw an interception to a defensive end. It's one of those games, right? And on that play, Tech got it down to the 2, and they ran it in. So you gave them 2 touchdowns. Then, you left too much time. Anyway, Dave Doran, how do you deal with that loss?
It hurts. Losses like that hurt more than blowout. I mean, it's like I said, what we're going to do is we're going to put that one in and use it. We're going to use it. And it's one thing that's great about football, man. You get to take out your frustrations on that field as a player, and we have a lot of frustration. And we get to go play against a team next week that it's going to be a great football game. And so we're going to use every inch of this to get these guys back, and I know they'll respond well.
All right. Next week, North Carolina, with a bowl game on the line for the Wolfpack. Think about how delicious this could be for North Carolina football fans.
Oh, yeah.
It works the other way sometimes, right? State comes in this game, think, man, we can really end their season. Although lately it hasn't been that way. They've both been bowl teams for the most part. But Carolina, at home, has a chance to send NC State into the off season.
Yeah.
And Dave Doran talked earlier in the week about how important these being bowl eligible is just for the practice time. I know it's a cliche, but it's true. You get to start next year early. All right, by the way, Heels are at Boston College. They're looking for their 4th straight win. Duke is home to Virginia Tech, looking for an 8th straight win. Not 8th straight win. 8th win overall in the season. Manny Diaz continuing to put himself in the Coach of the Year conversation. All right, so the Hurricanes lost.
Oh, boy.
All right. First of all, I will point out the Hurricanes are 14-5-0.
Right.
So
stay back, Doomers.
Yeah. Every game is not a referendum.
No.
It's just every game. And I just want to credit, for the most part, because I have been spending most of my social media time on Blue Sky. Quick aside, I do not care for your nobody's going to Blue Sky. Like, I don't care what you say. I don't care. I have not abandoned
No, you're
Twitter.
still on Twitter.
Yeah,
or
I have
X
not abandoned
or
it.
whatever.
I'm going to call Twitter until it dies. I've not abandoned Twitter. I am just shifting. I can't do both. There's not enough time to tweet or Sky both. So I have just decided, for the time being, I'm just going to concentrate on posting in-game things on Blue Sky. Now, I always will send out the YouTube link for the podcast on Twitter. I'll always do that. And I have Twitter up here all the time. I monitor it, right? Mm-hmm. So you and your little cheeky, nobody's going there. I'm like, I don't know. They got 20 million users right now. I have no idea how many of them are interested in the Hurricanes. I recognize a lot of people over there. So, you know what? Miss me with your shade. All right, now to the game. Hurricanes played 10 great minutes to start the game. They did. And that was kind of it.
Yeah.
That was it. Second 10 minutes of the first period, not good. Honestly, I didn't think the power play was bad. I don't think Carolina's power play was bad to start. They didn't really get any momentum out of it because I thought the game turned after Carolina's power play. I could have the timing of all of this wrong. But I thought the second half of the first period belonged to the Devils. I thought the entire second period belonged to the Devils. And frankly, Carolina was fortunate that it was only 2-1.
Yeah.
Started the second period on a 5-on-3 power play. 7th time this year Carolina's been two players down. 7th time already. That was game 19. It is unbelievable. I don't know that Carolina has been on a 5-on-3 power play 7 times combined.
I know.
In like the last 2 years.
It's a record we don't want.
Unbelievable how many times it's happened. I did think that the stall penalty on Jack Hughes was light, but I see why it was called, right? It's the same penalty that should have been called on Thomas Tatar, except in the third period, except Jackson Blake, I guess, cared more to stay on his skates than Jack Hughes did. Whatever. If Jackson Blake falls down, it's a penalty on Thomas Tatar because Blake stepped on his stick. And in the act of stepping on his stick, he did lose his balance.
Yeah.
His stick comes up and hits Tatar in the face. Hey, that's a high sticking penalty. You're responsible for your stick. I'm not complaining about that. But why was it a high sticking penalty? Because Jackson Blake lost his balance because he stepped on Tatar's stick. Mm-hmm. So if Blake just falls, it's a penalty to New Jersey. Carolina gets a power play, down 1 goal with like 5 minutes left. Anyway, I think it was 7 minutes left in the game. We move on. Carolina wasn't good enough last night. They weren't the better team. It's unfortunate, but they were their own worst enemy. On the first goal, Jack Roslovic gave the puck away needlessly inside the defensive zone. And on the Dougie Hamilton goal that gave New Jersey the lead in the third period, it was the goaltender's mistake. Spencer Martin, if you're going to come out of the net to play the puck, you got to play the puck, because all it did, as Rod Brindamore points out, was extend the possession.
Third period was fine.
But then penalty. Right?
Yeah, I mean, the penalty just shuts you right down again. I mean, they weren't able to kill it. To me, that's the special teams was a big factor tonight, but bigger factor, we just were a little flat.
All right, now, this is about the Hamilton goal.
Well, you just gave him a puck possession, going for no reason. Those are the little details that you're gonna have to clean up in the game, like when it's tight. That's the difference in the game. So, it's tough play. But then when they got another one on power play, like on a penalty, you got to stay out of the box.
Yeah, I mean, the Hurricanes weren't in the box that often. New Jersey was 2 out of 3 on the power play. Again, one of them was a 5-on-3. The goal, the first goal, power play goal, was a 5-on-3. The second one was, legally, Dougie Hamilton picked Jordan Stahl. Jesper Bratt got all the room in the world, and he put good shot past Spencer Martin. All right, we got a break here. We're going to be joined by Brian Geisinger on the other side. But a little bit later on, we are going to talk about the fact that the Hurricanes need to be in the market for a goaltender. Need to be in the market for a goaltender. Brian Geisinger on Hoops next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Keep pounding. Panther Talk, Panthers Playbook, the Pawprint. Follow your Carolina Panthers all season with us.
Officially a 36-yarder. Jansen snap. Hecker's hole. Pinero's kick. It is up, and Eddie wins it for the Panthers in OT.
Your home for complete Carolina Panthers coverage. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
What a way to start Week 12 in the NFL with a division rivalry underdog Blizzard win. I'm Victoria Vodnecker here for BetMGM, and last night's NFL game was a perfect example of how unpredictable things can be, and there's a lot of tight matchups this week in the NFL where games can really go either way, so maybe it's a good week to make an underdog parlay. And if you want to start your day off at 3 a.m. this Saturday, there's UFC Macau with the small but mighty Peter Yan trying to get a winning streak going, so maybe you could see him getting a knockout to end it early. Plus, we have our Canes versus the Blue Jackets tomorrow, so we're heading into a weekend full of opportunities. And when you use the BetMGM app, you'll see options like betting the money line, prop bets, live bets, same-game parlays, and BetMGM also offers fun daily promotions. All brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Download the app today and please gamble responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only, North Carolina only. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Mitchell Heating and Cooling. We do the job right every time.
Mitchell Heating and Cooling is celebrating 51 years of trusted service. And to celebrate, get a furnace tune-up for just $51. That's peace of mind heating for only $51. Visit MitchellHVAC.com. Mitchell Heating and Cooling. Quality products and services on time from a family you trust. It's hard to stop a train.
Diamonds Direct's once-a-year pre-holiday store-wide sale is almost over. Now through Sunday, get Diamonds Direct's amazing value price. And for the first time, it's even bigger. Get an extra 20% savings. Virtually everything in store is included. It's the big sale Diamonds Direct is famous for. Hurry, this incredible sale ends Sunday and will not be extended. Plus, book an appointment and get an additional $100 off. For the best selection, quality, and price, shop direct. Diamonds Direct. For details, visit diamondsdirect.com.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
Lowe's knows that to win the job, pros need the best prices. That's why only at Lowe's, MVP's Pro Rewards members can get a volume discount on eligible orders as low as $1,500 at the Pro Desk. That means you get the prices you need to start any job, small or large. Because Lowe's knows pros. Valid in-store only. More terms and restrictions apply. Visit Lowe's.com/terms or Pro Desk for details.
This is Adam Gold.
Home runs are homers, not dingers, not jacks, not bombs. Can I use tater?
I know. Can we say go in yard?
Oh, yes.
Right?
If we can't exaggerate, if we can't use colorful, flowery metaphors and descriptions, why are we here?
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold, Victoria producing the program. This is the time of the year. We're almost quite there, although there is a big game tonight involving a triangle team. We will talk about that, but we are very close to all of those holiday tournaments. In fact, I watched the end of Miami's loss to Drake yesterday. Well, I didn't watch it. It was on in front of me. I was otherwise busy talking to billions of people around the world. But the Maui Invitational is next week. North Carolina will be playing in that star-studded field. Duke's got Arizona tonight. At some point, NC State's going to start playing real basketball teams. Brian Geisinger, Pack Pride, 24/7 Sports, Buzzbeat podcast. Split the action on Substack, a must if you are a true basketball freak like Brian is. He joins us every Friday. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How about you guys?
Doing well. All right, so this is we're going to start with the Wolfpack real quick. This is the fourth game of the season. Still yet to see NC State, run up against, was it maybe the fifth game? I don't even know anymore. Yet to see State run up against a team with like athletes. I can't imagine we're going to see it here tonight out of Bill and Mary.
No, I don't think so. Just you're going to have to wait a few more days here before the schedule really does start to pick up for State. Less than a week from now, we'll have their result against Purdue, which had a big win against Alabama last weekend. And obviously Texas, which beat Syracuse in a pretty close game yesterday. But no, tonight sort of feels like another – just a good sort of like early season, sort of like training camp type game. I think there's been some good stuff so far. You want to see him get healthy. Trey Parker didn't play in the last game. Dennis Parker Jr.'s dealt with some injuries. They've got some other, Mike James is hurt. So they've had some guys missing time, but I think overall, they've looked pretty good. The transition game has been awesome. So far, Michael O'Connell, I looked at the stat earlier this week on, I believe it was transition possessions. When Michael O'Connell was in the game, NC State's shooting 87% from
That's
the field
good.
on transition opportunities. When O'Connell's in there, obviously his ability to play with pace and pass and hit ahead is pretty special. I think there are a couple sort of like interesting, I wouldn't paint them as red flags yet, but State, they're really not shooting a lot of threes right now.
That's
under 30%. I wrote about this at Pack Pride this week. They're getting just 17% of their total points through the first four games have been from threes. That's like a bottom 10 number in the country. They're not shooting a lot of them. They're not making a lot of them. And, I think that stuff will pick up. Kevin Keats has never really produced, especially since he got to State from UNC Wilmington, has never really had a high volume, 3-point chucking team. They tend to take a lot of mid-range twos with that pick and roll spread offense. But they're going to, they're going to need to get that into the sort of the low to mid 30s from an attempt standpoint,
right?
Percent of it, because there's just become sort of a carrying capacity type limit that you can't if you can't have, a quarter of your shots be threes, kind of. You know what I mean? Over the course of the season, if your opponents are taking, more of them. I think State's ability to switch defensively has been able to sort of reduce opposing 3-point rates, but that's also going to get more difficult as the season goes along. I'm sort of again, I think this stuff is going to regulate a little bit. And overall, I think the center platoon of Brendan Huntley-Hatfield and Ben Middlebrooks has looked good. I think Marcus Hill, his ability, he's not much of a shooter, but his ability to create and drive, he's a really interesting sort of attacking guard. And then O'Connell's decision making, I think has been, really, really good for them so far.
Brian Geisinger is joining us here, and coming out of the game against Colgate, and that game was Monday night. There were two things that jumped out to me that were, in my opinion, things that, again, I didn't call them red flags, but I'm going to keep an eye on. And the one you've already alluded to, because I think forget about making threes. Taking them, I'll use a football analogy here. If I'm not going to throw the ball, not even attempt to throw the ball down the field, the defense no longer has to worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to cover it, which makes everything else I want to do closer to the line of scrimmage more difficult. If State, who went 0 for 8 in one game or 0 for 7 from 3, and 3 out of 14 against Colgate, if that's your 3-point, attempt rate, I don't care. I am not even going to play you for it. I'm going to sag in and make other things more difficult for you. I think they must. Like, if they shoot 30% as a team from 3-point range, that's better than shooting 40% on, 10 attempts a game.
Yeah, it's about volume, right? And sort of like what that volume does to, make teams guard you a certain way. And you can see, as good as Marcus Hill has been, he's been very good. You could see even in the Colgate game, they're guys when if Hill's dribbling with the ball, just above the the top of the key or whatever, you can see the on-ball guy just sagging off.
Yeah,
And I mean Hill's very clever, so he was sort of chewing up the space and just doing his little herky-jerky drive game to get around those guys. But it can make things a little bit more cramped. And also I feel too, a lot of the 3-point offense right now is sort of Jaden Taylor in shot hunt mode. And Taylor is, a very nice 2-way guard, streaky shooter, but just better off the catch than he is, when he's trying to hit pull-up threes off the pick and roll and stuff like that. I kind of still think, I feel like I say this guy's name every time I come on, but and I know it's tough to sort of carve out a role in this backcourt. There's a lot of guys, and all of them are pretty good to very good. But I kind of wonder if a guy like Paul McNeil is sort of the upside play at some point this season for them.
Gotcha.
Because of his shooting ability too.
Okay.
He can do a lot of things on the court. He's very skilled and talented. But just in terms of the sort of quick fire, from deep, at some point if they're going to need some of that, I think they have some cards to play. And ultimately, this is a 4-game sample. I think it's going to be okay. They've got fours that can shoot, Styles can shoot. So it's they should be able to get to 4 round 1, but it's not quite there yet, basically.
All right. The other thing, and I want to move on to Duke and Arizona tonight, but the other thing that concerns me is that even against Colgate, not a lot of offensive rebounding, just 5 offensive rebounds. And when you start going against bigger, or athletes, to me, you got to get extra possessions. You don't have to be North Carolina on the offensive glass traditionally, but 5 is just not a good number. They've got to be higher than that. All right, Duke and Arizona tonight. Last time we saw Duke play against high-caliber opposition, Cooper Flagg didn't play well the last couple of minutes. He had a couple of turnovers. Con Knipple had maybe the worst offensive game he'll have all year. Now they play Arizona, who was here last year and beat Duke at Cameron Indoor Stadium. They're going to the McHale Center. What are you looking for tonight?
A lot. I'm interested in a lot of things. I mean, the glass sort of feels like a battleground area. It's a big Arizona team, and they can really mash you on both sides of the glass. They clean up the defensive glass. They're excellent offensive rebounders. So I'll just it feels like a big game for, Cooper Flagg. Come on, Malawat, Malik Brown, the front court, Patrick Ngungba, who played pretty well when he in limited minutes against Wofford the other day. Those guys have to be strong and physical and, good position, but also play above the rim against those guys. Arizona's got pretty awesome guards. Jaden Bradley's one of the fastest guys in the country. Caleb Love, obviously, the shot making is always hit or miss, but you can get hot and just take your entire scheme and throw it over the top rope. And the guy like KJ Lewis is just really, really good. One of the better guards. I guess in the Big 12 is where Arizona is now. So, can you contain those guys? Can you keep them off the offensive glass? You even remember Trey Townsend, who's like playing the 4 for Arizona this year, was on that Oakland team that State beat.
Okay,
The tournament last year, can like really post up and face up and do stuff with the ball too. But for me, like, how does Duke handle a road game early in the season? And what do the shots look like for Con Knipple? Like, can they get him some good looks? Can you get Caleb Foster going downhill? And just sort of like, what are Duke's coverages looking like against those guards, Lewis, Bradley, and Love, like in terms of pick and roll ball screen coverages?
Was it any concern for you that it seemed in the second half that Duke's offense completely forgot the fact that Tyrese Proctor had a good first half? I don't know what usage rates for him and Foster were in the second half, but it couldn't have been high because, especially in the latter part of the game, and I understand why you do it, but in the latter part of the game, everything started with Cooper Flagg and Con Knipple. There was like nobody else, even on the court for Duke. Was that, let's just see how it goes? Or do you think that's going to be the plan going forward?
Yeah, I think it kind of, I don't know. Like I could see it going a couple of different ways. Like sort of like, Proctor's an interesting player. He's very good. I've every time I come on here, I sort of talk about how I'm team Tyrese Proctor is good at basketball, and obviously he shot it very well from deep to start the season. He's in like a little bit different of a role this year, just because. Obviously Caleb Foster's there as a ball handler, but those guys, Tyrese has played with Jeremy Roach and Jared McCain and
right.
And Caleb Foster. He's played with these other ball handlers before, but they're running so much stuff, so much of this 5-out offense through Cooper, similar to what they did with Flip last season. I think Tyrese is pretty good at sort of like picking his spots. Like I think he's sort of like a natural distributor. I think he's out there to sort of like make the offense flow and to sort of like set guys up and get him going in transition. And then, he gets into Viper mode, and when the shots find him, then he can get hot. I think you did see in the Army game, he had a couple of big shots in a row, and Duke was like really looking for him. I'll be curious to see, like, the 5-out offense is great. It really opens the floor for Cooper. They've got all these cool movement sets to get to for Con. Maybe you start featuring Tyrese in some of that stuff a little bit, just so you're actually like scheming stuff up and running some of these like series for him. And who knows? Maybe you just need to get a little bit more like traditional, like north-south pick and roll basketball too. Even if you've got to have Cooper screen for Tyrese, doing stuff like that to sort of like get him matchups and various things. But I think ultimately, like, Proctor is still in sort of like data collection mode for figuring out like what his role is going to be. In the meantime, he's playing. He's playing very, very well. So I think they'll figure it out. But yeah, maybe you just need to sort of like get to a few more, like either kind of get to the spread pick and roll stuff or start running a little bit more of the 5-out actions, with Proctor in mind as a target.
Yeah, Duke's also not getting to the free throw line a ton. I don't know what why that is. Even in the games against the lesser competition, they're not spending a lot of time at the line. Brian Geisinger, we'll let you go here. We'll try to catch up early next week if you can, before we all carve a turkey.
Yep, that sounds good.
You are the man. Brian Geisinger, go check out Split the Action on Substack. I promise you, if you're a basketball freak, you will thank me for that. When we come back, the Panthers are back in action. We've got keys to the game. Pawprint, Panther style. Next.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Oh, the NBA is back, and FanDuel is America's #1 sports book for a reason, because they want you to catch all the action. And right now, FanDuel giving everyone 3 months of NBA League Pass. All you got to do to catch every tip-off, every buzzer beater, every dunk is place any $5 wager on the NBA and get 3 months of NBA League Pass, courtesy of FanDuel and me. FanDuel.com/AGS. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel. FanDuel.com/AGS. FanDuel is an official sportsbook partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. After 3-month free trial, the full price of League Pass will be automatically charged monthly. Cancel anytime. No refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Limit 1 pass per customer. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, we believe that getting to know you is the best way to protect what you love most. We have friendly agents in every county to help you prepare for the unexpected. And when life doesn't go as planned, our award-winning claims team will be with you every step of the way. Find a local agent today at ncfbins.com. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Agriculture drives our local economy. I'm Lee Ivey, Director of the Agricultural Institute at NC State University, and we are looking for our next generation of leaders. If you want to make a difference and help feed the world, join us at the Ag Institute, where we grow successful graduates, productive futures, and rewarding lifestyles. We offer 2-year degrees and hundreds of internships. Learn more online by searching NC State Ag Institute. 2 years, 1 degree, endless possibilities.
It's that time of year. We can't wait to visit our loved ones. Don't let COVID-19 and the flu stop you. So make sure you don't have to cancel on those you love the most by getting your flu and COVID vaccines. Both flu and COVID vaccines have been updated to fight against the new virus strains that will continue to spread this fall and winter. Don't wait. Get your updated shots today.
Get protected this season with updated COVID-19 and flu shots. Visit myspot.nc.gov and find yours today.
You wouldn't ask your mechanic to help stage your property for an open house. As NC Realtors, we're experts who make buying or selling property easier for you. Using the latest technology and armed with local insights, our Realtors help you find properties you would want to call home. We also know which details make your property more attractive to other buyers. From start to finish, our Realtors know. Find out more at ncrealtorsknow.com.
According to the latest report on farmland loss in the United States, North Carolina ranks second in the nation in potential agricultural land lost by the year 2040. If you own land that may be converted from agricultural use, the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services may be able to help. Grants for the purchase of development rights are available through the North Carolina Agricultural Development and Farmland Preservation Trust Fund. Landowners can learn more at ncadfp.org.
Some call it overplanning. At Alternative Power, we call it foresight. Be prepared for the next power outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Generac, it's not just a generator, it's a power move. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
This is Adam Gold.
Home runs are homers, not dingers, not jacks, not bombs. Can I use tater?
No. Can we say going yard?
Oh, yes.
Right?
If we can't exaggerate, if we can't use colorful, flowery metaphors and descriptions, why are we here?
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold, Victoria, producing the program. We thank Brian Geisinger for his time, as always, on Friday. For me, Friday next week is Tuesday.
It is. It's a short week.
It's a very short week.
And my Friday's Wednesday.
Here you go.
I'm actually going to be here for
Go
Wednesday.
figure. I won't be here. So we might catch up with Brian either Monday or Tuesday. I think Monday we're already we have a lot of things already planned for Monday. Every once in a while, I think longer ahead than my arm. Every once in a while.
Yeah.
Can't promise that it's going to happen again. So we'll try to figure something out for next week with Brian, especially in the middle of the Maui Invitational. North Carolina will open with Dayton. We'll have some Duke, Arizona stuff to digest. And coming up on, I think it's Thanksgiving Day, State plays Purdue.
Okay.
Right? This 28th Thanksgiving Day?
It is.
I think so.
The 28th
yeah.
is. Mm-hmm.
So they play Purdue. And that is the first time we are going to see NC State against a bona fide, power team. And we'll learn a lot more. It's hard to learn from these games. So Duke blows Maine out, and they blow out Army, and then they play Kentucky, and we go, what went wrong? Don't know. But those two games don't really prepare you for Kentucky. They just can't. So it's just more difficult. State will find this out when they play Purdue. There hasn't been a ton of pushback in the 4 games. Tonight will be 5 when they play William and Mary. All right, let's get into our Panthers keys to the game. It's Panthers Pawprint.
With our fancy official music.
I love it.
Okay. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. So, woof. My 3 are be prepared for Patrick Mahomes. I feel like
these are the official 3.
Yes.
I don't have 3.
Oh, you don't have.
No, I know. I will make comments after.
Yeah.
These are your paw prints.
Yeah. Well, so my official 3.
These are the official. It's like the show platform.
Right. Patrick Mahomes, broken record, but you need to prepare for him. He's got crazy plays. They're dinking and dunking. They're like doing ring around the rosies. So I
haven't seen that yet this year, though.
We haven't yet, and I really don't want it to be at Bank of America this weekend. But you've got to be prepared. I hope that they've looked at the tape and thought of all the scenarios this offense could produce, because I would not be surprised if they do bring out ring around the rosy. Number 2, the Chiefs are not going to let us run the ball as much as we would like to run the ball, or as we should run the ball. So Adam Thielen, I believe, should be coming back. I hope that they are utilizing that, even though that is Bryce's safety net. So hopefully they're clicking, get that going. And, the Chiefs also, number 3, Chiefs have a lot of injuries. So capitalize on those, but also don't get frazzled if you get behind, because just stay out of your head. Bryce has been doing well in the past couple games about not getting too deep into his head. So just don't get frazzled. Stay calm if we get under, which we probably might at some point.
Right.
And if I threw a 3B in there, if that was 3A, if you're a prayer, pray.
Oh, okay.
I hope they do a pregame pray sesh.
All right, so you're right. Kansas City is an incredibly good defense.
Yes.
Right? Chris Jones is, I don't know if he's on track to be the defensive player of the year, but he's going to get a lot of votes. Going to get a lot of support. He is that good, and because he operates really in the middle of their defense, the worst part for an offense is when your offensive line gets caved in the middle, which is why Carolina went out and addressed that part of the team this year. But Robert Hunt, who has had a great year, and Lewis and whoever's at center now, I have no idea who's left in terms of injuries, but they have been banged up in the middle of the offensive line, as well as the end. They've been banged up all over the place. This is going to test everything for them. But I will say, I think, this is going to sound weird, I think they can protect Bryce.
I sure hope so.
I think they can do it enough. Take your chances.
Right.
What is the worst thing that can happen?
Because Bryce is going to put pressure on himself anyway.
Right.
We've seen this.
Worst thing that can happen is you lose. So, take your shots. Go down the field. Roll the dice. It's going to be fun.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold's here, and since it's the holiday season, I want to save you some time and some money so you can spend it on some other things. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set you up with a gift that keeps on giving. The gift of perfect vision and a way to save money year over year over year over year. Dr. Lori Travers and Travers LASIK. First of all, she is the best in the business and the only LASIK specialist in the Triangle. So we've got that. Then think about all the money you spend. Contact lenses, solutions, replacement lenses, glasses, prescription sunglasses, all of the money you spend on that, you'll never have to spend again. 919-510-6830. We're saving you time. You just wake up and go. We're saving you money. By the way, 0% financing for 24 months is available, and it's way more affordable than you think. Travers LASIK, 919-510-6830. Free consultation, traverslasik.com as well. Travers LASIK, see what you've been missing.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. For all the inside information on your team, join me and my co-host, WRAL TV's Chris Lee, for our podcast, Panthers Playbook, presented by Carolina Ford Dealers. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on your Panthers, and we'll do it with access only we can provide. Locker room insight, exclusive interviews, and in-depth looks at every Panthers game. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
Are you looking for the perfect holiday gift? Did you know that Bailey's has something for everybody and every budget? Sure, we're known for our designer jewelry, fine diamonds, and luxury watches, but we also have a vast selection of beautiful jewelry and gifts under $500. You can make a piece of our Bailey's collection yours this Christmas. Add a little sparkle with the popular Icon Collection Tiny Diamond Hoops in either white, rose, or yellow gold for $395. For only $250, check out our beautiful Sterling Collection Diamonds by the Yard bracelet. Or select one of our Bailey's perfect layering necklaces. For $325, our Gold Mark Station necklace, or for only $275, our Icon Puffed Heart pendant. We're celebrating over 75 years of making holiday gifting easy. You can shop online at baileybox.com, or we invite you to visit one of our locations in Raleigh, Cary, Rocky Mount, and Greenville to see why every woman wants a Bailey box under the tree.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. GI Bill, SkillBridge, and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
If you see a student being bullied, be supportive. Ask if they're okay and invite them to join you. You'll be an ally and you can make a friend. Friendship! Visit StopBullyingSpeakUp.com and join Cartoon Network to redraw your world without bullying.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score!
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Second and goal, ball at the 2, shotgun formation, handoff, Chubb trying to take it in, and he does! Touchdown! Contact at the 1, he brushes it off, and the Browns take the lead. Shotgun, Wilson in the pocket, hooks a pass, throws it, in the air, end zone, knocked down, and it's over! The Browns hold on and pull off the upset. AFC North football in the snow in Cleveland, and this one belongs to the Browns. 24-19. They knock off the Steelers to start Week 12.
And there's a whole lot of snow angels going on out on that field.
Yep. Snow angels during the football game. Absolutely phenomenal. What a blast. I wish I had watched it simply because it would have been fun to watch that game in the snow. The highlights were great.
Oh, it was fun. It definitely was fun. But like you mentioned earlier, hard to see as a viewer, but it was still fun.
Yeah, but it wasn't hard for those guys to play in it. I'm certain of it.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm 100% certain that it was not hard.
It was funny to see
for
how
them to play.
you could tell the wind direction because all the snow was like on one half of people's faces. People wearing ball caps would have it on like one side of the ball cap and then not the other. It was, yeah.
See,
I was cold
Jameis
watching
Winston's helmet broke.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, like the communication. Like, but the helmet broke, I guess, when he hit the ground or something like that.
Okay.
And so he was playing with like this piece on a wire, apparently hanging out of his helmet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there
Top
you go.
notch. NFL. Think they'd drop some coin or something.
That's well, for how many years did they not allow alternate helmets? You know what their reasoning was? Seriously, the reasoning for not allowing alternate helmets was that the helmets are too expensive, and the helmets are designed for custom made for each person's head.
Right.
So they would, and it was for safety reasons, they said.
That's what they said.
Yes.
I see.
They gave it away earlier when they said it's too expensive.
Right.
How many helmets does every college football program have?
It's true. I don't know, but
Seriously, they have.
It's a lot.
Oregon has like 8 different helmets.
Yeah.
I think they're expensive too.
Mm-hmm.
Nike
but they still have them.
Nike just gives it to them.
Right.
It's part of the. No, it's didn't give it to. It's part of the deal. Anyway, yeah, it's nice to see different helmets coming back. The NFL makes plenty of money. You can afford that.
Exactly.
Buy some helmets. Why don't you? I know. All right, let's take another look at news of the day. Some stuff we actually have not yet discussed. Duke star, former Duke star, former Charlotte, North Carolina product. I guess you're always a product of where you came from. Daniel Jones released today.
Yep.
By the Giants. It was a requested release by Daniel Jones. Why do that now? I don't know. I haven't really spent 2 seconds thinking about the why of it, other than he has been released. Now, there is a waiver period, and nobody will claim Daniel Jones because of the 2 years remaining on his contract. However, when that waiver period is over, the Carolina Panthers should claim Daniel Jones.
What do you think? I was going to ask. Where do you think he should go?
Or sign Daniel Jones.
Other than the couch.
I've said this about Daniel Jones before. It's not his fault he was the 8th pick in the draft, 6th pick in the draft, whatever the number is. It is not his fault that Dave Gettleman thought that Daniel Jones was the Giants' quarterback of the future. Nope, not his fault. It's Dave Gettleman's fault. If Dave had called me, I would have said, nope, you don't want him.
It was a miss, Dave.
He makes too many mistakes. He's not super accurate as a thrower. His arm is good, but not amazing. Unless you're going to use him as a read option quarterback where the throwing is the second part of his game. Because that's what he was really good at Duke. So, but that's not why the Giants drafted him. Daniel, he's 6'5", he's 230 pounds, he's fast, he is a great runner. What he really is the perfect backup quarterback.
He is.
Charlotte is his home. You could do worse than having Daniel Jones on about, I don't know, anywhere from $3 to $5 million a year being your backup quarterback. All right, that is what I would like to see for the Panthers and Daniel Jones. We used to have this phrase about Derek Anderson when it came to the Panthers. He was a franchise backup. there's something to be said for always having a guy who can get you out of a game.
Yeah.
Maybe even in one game as a starter can win you a game. And if treated properly with the right play calls and the right scheme going in, he can be an effective quarterback. What Daniel Jones can't be is a really good starting quarterback in the NFL. He can't be. That's not going to be that. But he can be a backup.
I would love to be a backup. That's a primo job.
What a great job.
I know.
Backup, you got to be behind a healthy quarterback.
True.
Right? The backup for how many years?
Patrick Mahomes would be ideal.
Right. You know, who is Kansas City's backup right now?
Who knows?
Carson Wentz.
Because we don't need him.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And that you can have Carson Wentz be your backup because he doesn't have to play.
Exactly.
The backup to Peyton Manning for all those years. Oh, man, what a job.
Right?
Other than the 1 year, Tom Brady's backup.
Mm-hmm.
That's the job you want.
After he was done being a backup.
For a year and a half.
Yeah.
Did it even take that long? It wasn't even a year and a half. It was a year and a game.
Yeah.
And then Mo Lewis knocked Drew Bledsoe to Dallas.
Yes, he did.
So, anyway, that's what I would do if I were the Panthers. Daniel Jones. Let's make it happen. Bart Scott has other ideas for Daniel Jones. Let's hear Bart Scott.
Purdy's a little injured. Let's say San Francisco, the quarterback whisperer, like, oh, man, I always wanted to – is Daniel Jones not a representation of what they thought Trey Lance could be? A big quarterback that had mobility, that can do some of the things that Brock Purdy can't do with the read option stuff with Christian McCaffrey? Like, he can find himself in a very, very good position.
49ers.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
What about the Cowboys? They need someone now.
Cowboys need a starter. That's the problem with Daniel Jones. But seriously, because I've said all the way back to the time that Bryce Young was benched, I thought that it was over in Carolina for Bryce Young. And I still believe that.
Yeah.
So if I'm the Panthers next year, I'm gonna try to build Bryce Young's value. I'm gonna try to trade him for what I can get for him. Now, you're not going to get much. If you're lucky, if he has a good end of this season, maybe you can get a day 2 pick. Maybe you can rebuild his value to the point where it's a 3rd-round pick. I don't know. But I'm going into next season saying, Andy Dalton, you can be my quarterback. You can be the guy, Andy. If we draft a quarterback, it's going to be late. It's going to be somebody we can take and maybe develop. Andy, you can be my starter. And Daniel Jones, you can be my backup. You can be my backup for as long as you want to be my backup. Because I do think he profiles as that, as a backup quarterback.
And the Giants still have to pay him.
The Giants, well, they don't have to pay him. The reason why the Giants benched him is because if he got hurt over the last part of the season, they would owe him $23 million in guaranteed money for injury. So that's why they're not getting rid of him. Why they benched him, and they will release him. They got to pay him for the rest of the year. And Daniel Jones has made a lot of money.
Yes, he has. A lot.
So what the Giants are going to wear is the $20 million dead cap hit for not having Daniel Jones on your roster. So I don't know. I mean, I guess it counts this year. It's after June 1, so it'll be split in terms of the dead cap hit over maybe this year. And I don't know how that's going to work. It's going to be weird.
Yeah.
And I don't understand it anyway. But I just know that he can be a backup, and you won't have to pay him that much money because maybe somebody tries to sign him as a starter. I don't know why you would.
Nah, no.
We've seen him play too much. We understand what Daniel Jones isn't at this point.
People are throwing out the Raiders, too, potentially, for Daniel.
Yeah, the Raiders. But I think the Raiders are going to draft a starting quarterback.
They need a starting quarterback, yes.
Again, if you want a starting quarterback and you go and say, get me Daniel Jones, I just assume you're going to be, picking in the top 3 the following season. Because Daniel Jones ain't going to get you there. The 1 year, the Brian Daboll first year in New York, when he schemed Daniel Jones into a $40 million annual contract is not only one of the great offensive coaching jobs ever, it is also a curse on the Giants.
Big time.
Because he played well enough in that scheme. Once the rest of the league saw it, they were, oh yeah, we'll just do this. And Daniel Jones was only occasionally good after that. But anyway, we're looking forward to Tommy DeVito and whoever the agent is in the fedora.
I know.
Being a thing again for the last 2 months of the season.
Tommy
Cutlets is back. All right, when we come back, Roddy Jones. We'll see if he's basking in the glow of his alma mater's win last night, but we're going to talk college football with the ESPN analyst next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
Duke, UNC, and State men's basketball. It seems like every single day another one of them is playing a top 10 team in the country in their non-conference schedule. That's not by accident. Yes, they'll take their lumps, may even lose a couple games, but they'll be battle-tested, and that is worth its weight in gold when the postseason comes around. It's why they surprise every year.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends down at Diamonds Direct Crabtree. Yes, my friend Barack and his team down at Diamonds Direct Crabtree, who do such an amazing job all during the year for whatever your needs are, whether it's anniversary, wedding, bridal, all of that stuff. But now the holidays are coming, and you know what she wants. She might want this diamond and sapphire ring. Heck, that looks like exactly the ring I got my wife for our 5th anniversary. You can do it too, and you can save thousands, because at Diamonds Direct Crabtree, there is no middleman markup. You're buying directly from the diamond manufacturers, so you will save money. Oh, and then when we get to the holidays, there's even more savings. Best customer service in the industry. I promise you, they will treat you like family at Diamonds Direct Crabtree. So, online is great, diamondsdirect.com, but you got to go to the showroom and see it for yourself. The treatment, top-notch. The selection, unbelievable. Diamonds, fine gemstone jewelry, it's all there. Diamonds Direct Crabtree. On Glenwood Avenue in front of Crabtree Valley Mall in Raleigh.
Hurry to your local Ram dealer for this Black Friday offer. $8,500 total cash allowance on the 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab. Financing for well-qualified buyers through Stellantis Financial. Not all customers will qualify. Residency restrictions apply. Take delivery by 12/2/24.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
Hi, this is Mike Maniscalco. Do you want to increase the value of your home and decrease the cost of energy bills? If your home needs new windows, siding, doors, and more, look no further than your locally owned Window World, the Triangle's most trusted and America's largest exterior remodeler. A proud sponsor of the Canes, Window World will get your home looking great on the outside while saving on energy costs inside. Search Window World for a free quote today.
This is Adam Gold.
Yeah, but he's real patient, like he said in his interview today.
In all other aspects of life.
Yes.
If he's in line at the drive-thru and it's taking a long time, he will not ram the car in front of him.
Exactly. Someone's pressing his shirt. He will wait 30 seconds for it to be crisper.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Bottom of the hour, we will run down the top 10 games of the weekend, regardless of sport. Top 10 games of the weekend, regardless of sport, coming up at the bottom of the hour. We did this last week. I had a good time.
Yeah.
It's all that matters. Do
Right.
I have a good time?
That's
it.
the goal.
I mean, why else are we here?
Right?
Other than to help me have fun. That's why you're here.
Right? Play bump music that you like. So.
Right, exactly. So, and it's always fun to catch up with Roddy Jones from ESPN, college football analyst extraordinaire, and a proud graduate of the Ramblin' Wreck. First of all, a little pride from your guys yesterday?
First and foremost, ranking the 10 best games of the weekend, regardless of sports, seems a very thankless and a task that would make me just pull my hair out. Because honestly, especially on weekends like this, how do I include both F1 and Ohio State, Indiana in the same list? I think it's awesome, but where do I rank them? That would be very tough for me.
Wait a second. Did you say like Formula One?
Oh, Formula! That is definitely one of the 10 best sporting events this weekend. Absolutely, Las Vegas Grand Prix.
All right, you're gonna have to sell me. I'll give you 60 seconds to sell me on Formula One right now.
So imagine really good-looking athletes. If you are a female, they are all male. If you're into that kind of thing, whatever. But like beautiful people all over, both athletes and around the sport. Fast cars. These guys are fighter pilots. It's a really close race. Like. In the ultimate scheme of things, between three teams at the top, and the spectacle of cars going 200 miles an hour down the strip is one that is definitely worth checking out. It's awesome. It's an awesome sport. It's an awesome race, and I am fired up for it.
All right, is Lewis Hamilton still racing?
Lewis Hamilton is still racing. He's not racing well. Mercedes is struggling a little bit, but man. Lando Norris, up-and-comer for McLaren. Ferrari's right there in there. Lewis Hamilton's going to Ferrari next year. The biggest driver in the sport, maybe the history of the sport, going to the biggest team in the history of the sport. That's happening next season. But Max Verstappen and Red Bull are behind in the constructors. He's awesome. So there's just a lot going on.
So, Roddy Jones, I'm going to change the intro now. Our ESPN college football analyst and Formula One analyst as well.
Don't threaten me with a good time. If I could be an F1 analyst, I would jump in a heartbeat. I would.
See, I agree with him because I love drifting, and that's kind of in the same network.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
I don't know what drifting is.
Formula One, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Drifting cars.
It's fine.
It's Tokyo Drift,
totally
Fast and
understand.
Furious.
Totally understand. I could hook you up with Jamie Little. So I'm sure she's covered Formula One at some point in her past. All right, so Georgia Tech actually looks like a good football team, Roddy.
Georgia Tech is a good football team, and what Brent Key has done there has been tremendous. They embody their head coach. They're physical on the lines of scrimmage, and the last two wins have not been mistakes. And they've done it with a combination of a freshman quarterback that can throw but still learning the offense, makes freshman mistakes, and a quarterback who's in his fourth year in Haynes King that can't throw the ball further than 10 yards right now through no fault of his own. I mean, the kid had a shoulder injury and is trying to rebound from that. He has been as tough as anybody, but really the team around has continued to make plays. You saw yesterday a defensive touchdown on a pick six, another defensive interception that got Georgia Tech down to the 1 yard line, so they were able to punch it in, and you end up winning by 1 point. It was a true team win, and thank goodness for whatever win to push that 58-yard field goal wide. Because it was a really fun game that was between two freshman quarterbacks ultimately down the stretch. So the future is promising for both teams at that position. But ultimately, Georgia Tech surpassing their win total from a year ago with a schedule that was undoubtedly tougher is tremendous for Brent Key in that program.
I talked about this earlier, and we're going to get into first of all, which game are you going to be at this weekend?
I've got Wake Forest, Miami, so I get to return to my roots, ACC country.
Look at you! We need Miami to kind of snap back into blowout mode. Not that I want you to have to deal with all of your filler material, but I do think that there's a conversation about how the ACC repairs its image within the sport that centers around schools like Georgia Tech, because there is football tradition at Georgia Tech. They have won a national championship. I guess they shared one, right, with Nebraska that year. But so it's one of those programs. It's not necessarily Clemson or Miami or Florida State or Virginia Tech, but it's right below that. It's in the next grouping of teams that if the league is healthy, if the league is good, then Georgia Tech is probably good. And it's good to see them playing not Paul Johnson type football. I'm not knocking it. It was gimmicky football. It's good to see them doing it, playing college football.
Yeah, I think your point about the competitive depth of the league is a good one, because you need two things. Like, you need teams to be good, and you also need them to be teams that you feel like you can trust. And when you have multiple years of a Georgia Tech being good, and then they, are making a bid to be in the top 25 or the top 15, you sort of believe that because you've seen the build, and there's some validity there that goes back to history. So, the stories of Indiana, a school with really no football history,
right,
popping up and getting into the top 5 are rare, and they have largely done it because they have blown people out. What Georgia Tech has to do, a school that does have history, they've got 4 national championships. One of them was in most millennials' lifetime. That's a school that if you can sustain some level of success over the course of years and be fringe top 25 and then and a consistent bowl team and then break into the top 25, then you have that validity. And so, the SMU story is a great one, but I do think it hurts the perception of the league because we've seen what happens to G5 teams when they move up.
Right.
And so I think people are trying to sort of figure how much of this says great things about SMU and how much of it is a knock on the ACC after seeing UCF and Cincinnati and BYU struggle and Houston struggle in the Big 12 last year, and then seeing what Florida State is this year and seeing Clemson lose 2 games. Now look, Clemson's only lost 2 and the sky is falling, but lose 2 games and still look in some ways in a way that we have seen in the past, giving up big plays. The offense not looking like the Trevor Lawrence era, although I think we romanticize that a little bit too much.
We do.
So I think it's a little bit of everything. Even this Miami team has been romanticized a ton. Like, this is not a team that has blown really anybody out in ACC play. The Duke game ended up being a blowout. It ended up being a 3-touchdown game. But that's because Miami, who was losing in the fourth quarter to Duke, scored 3 straight touchdowns to end it. You've obviously got the Florida State game, and that's probably the biggest blowout that they've had. But Louisville was back and forth. Cal's, they needed a 25-point comeback. Virginia Tech is throwing a ball in the end zone to win it. So I do think there is competitive depth, but when Virginia Tech's hovering around 500, when Cal can't win an ACC game, and when Louisville loses to Stanford, it just sort of erodes any trust that you had in those teams.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're talking about. The reason, it's funny because when we talk about the college football playoff, and I know that the SEC and the Big Ten are going to try and essentially bully their way to 4 automatic bids for each conference. Like this year, the SEC could be selling itself short. I'm a fan. I would be in favor of just the best 12 teams. I don't care where you come from. I understand why we're going to have automatic bids, which is, at least for the time being, to avoid a lawsuit, because you can't exclude the group of 5. There's no chance Boise State would be in the top 12 if there weren't automatic bids. I just don't believe there would be. Because I think you could have 5 or 6 SEC teams as the top 12 teams in the country. Based on what I have seen anyway. But we're probably not going to have that. I still think that Clemson has a chance as an at-large team, but it has to beat South Carolina next week convincingly, no?
I don't think Clemson has a chance as an at-large team because I don't think that I think when you look at where SMU is, like SMU's behind Boise State right now.
Right.
I know, and it feels like Boise State is getting credit for playing Oregon close because or we are overvaluing the Mountain West, which I think it's a combination of both of those two things. You can't look me in the face and tell me that UNLV, who's at 22, I believe, this week.
Right, who lost to Syracuse.
Who lost to Syracuse is better than the teams that just fell out. Kansas State, LSU, I've seen LSU in person. UNLV's not beating LSU. It's just not happening.
Right.
So while I agree with sort of the assessment of the league that it is undervalued, I don't think Clemson has a chance. And I think the system that we have now is really interesting because the SEC is going to probably get too few teams in. And I agree, if it was just the 12 best teams, I think you could have an argument that 6 or 7, depending on how they finish, 6 or 7 SEC teams would belong in the top 12. I think that the Big Ten is probably going to get too many teams in.
Yeah,
by
we'll 2.
We'll see about Indiana tomorrow. But ultimately, all we know about Indiana right now is that they beat up on the bottom half of the league. So, Indiana could just be the 8th best team in the Big Ten. We'll find out. I think Penn State is probably a little overrated.
Mm-hmm.
Should they make a 12-team playoff if it was the 12 best teams? I mean, probably, but what have they shown this year to make me think that they are? They played Ohio State close. That's really it. You look at the USC and UCLA games, and there's no way that's one of the 12 best teams in the country. So it is super interesting. I would not be in favor of going to the 12 best teams because I don't need to see the 6th best team in the SEC again play Georgia. I just don't. But I do think that the Big Ten probably has the best. They've got the best setup because there's. I've said Big Ten has a caste system. It's hard to break into that top tier. Indiana has done it, kind of. Again, we'll see.
Right.
But Penn State loses to Michigan and Ohio State when Michigan and Ohio State are better than them, and they beat everybody else. Happens every single year, like clockwork.
Yeah.
So the Big Ten is kind of in a place where they get credit for being a big-time league, but nobody upsets Ohio State. Nobody upsets Oregon. Nobody upsets Penn State. And when Michigan's good, nobody really upsets Michigan. And yet they get credit because when they beat up on each other, they play each other close. They get credit for a top-tier league, when actually I think the depth of that league is probably much more like the ACC than it is the SEC.
You know, what's really interesting, Roddy Jones is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show, our Formula One analyst, as we get ready for the weekend. The absence of divisions in the Big Ten, I think, is going to expose the Wisconsins and the Iowas of the world for being just okay. I've been screaming about this for a long time. I'm not saying Wisconsin wasn't good, because they were. They were good. But they were never nearly as good as they seemed because there was nobody good in that division. And their crossover games, a lot of times they would avoid the 2 or 3 best teams in the other division, Ohio State, Michigan. I guess at one point Michigan State was good. Penn State, obviously under James Franklin, has been good, but they would avoid those. And for whatever reason, so they always had this incredible record, never played anybody outside of the league. So they'd have 10 wins at the end of the season. Go, man, Wisconsin's great. And have you watched them? They're just big. They're not great. They beat the other teams that aren't good. And I think the lack of divisions is probably going to continue to expose some of those teams that had good records without really being good.
I could not agree more. There was a few years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, when you looked at the top defenses in the country, and 5 of the top 10 were from the Big Ten West. And look, I'm not saying that they didn't play good defense in the Big Ten West, but there's no way that you can have 5 teams from the same division be in the top 5 in the country in defense unless the offenses are just terrible.
Terrible.
Like the Big Ten West consistently had zero quarterback play and thus zero offense. And so, yeah, absolutely, it is going to expose Wisconsin and Iowa and Minnesota and all of those teams. The only go back and look at for any listener who wasn't familiar with the work of the Big Ten West. Go back and look at the championship game scores. The champion of the Big Ten West over the last 5 or 6 years got beat 26-0, 43-22, 42-3, 22-10, 31-21, 45-24. There was a close one in 2017, 27-21. There was a close one in 2016, 38-31. But for the last 6 years, it has been blowouts. And the Big Ten West never beat the Big Ten East in the championship game. So yes, those teams absolutely are going to be exposed. And I think it's sort of made plain in front of our face just how big a difference it was, because, I think it's going to be a while before you see a team from the Big Ten West finish higher than certainly fourth. Although Indiana this year, I can't even remember whether they were in the West or the East, to be honest with you.
I think they were in the East.
They were a non-factor. Yeah, they were in the East. You are absolutely correct. They were a non-factor, so they're in the East too. But I think it's going to be a while before you see a former Big Ten West team peak into the top 4 or 5 of the Big Ten, especially now that you have Oregon, you have Washington, which is a perennial power, has history. We'll see what happens with USC. But those schools are going to continue to be exposed for what they are, which is fine, but
right.
Never elite.
Yeah, I don't know were they a legend or a leader. That I don't.
That's the other confusing thing. You go back to that, and then you get to Wisconsin, Michigan State playing in the championship game. Wisconsin, Nebraska.
Yeah,
that was a fun one in 2012. I completely forgot about that.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time since Nebraska played, no offense, a seriously meaningful football game. It has been a long time.
They may be playing in the next couple weeks if they can't get the bowl eligibility.
Well, that's true. Different levels of meaningful. NC State at North Carolina next Saturday. That's going to be pretty meaningful for NC State and for North Carolina, because you get a chance to maybe end the season of your rival a lot earlier than they would have liked. Roddy Jones, our Formula One analyst, he'll be on Wake Forest and Miami coming up this week. That didn't make my top 10. I apologize for that. I know.
Hopefully next week we'll make it.
Well, now that F1 is in, I had to kick the Wake Miami game out.
There we go. A fair trade, honestly. I support that.
At Roddy Jones 20 on Twitter. Thank you very much, my man. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Adam. See you.
You got it, Roddy Jones here. I got an F1 lesson. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, no, it's a good time.
Racing. As a kid, I used to watch. I guess it wasn't Formula One. I used to watch IndyCar.
Okay.
As a kid.
Yeah.
So I like
fast cars.
That was more what I liked. Open wheel racing, better than stock car racing for me as a kid. I didn't watch a lot of stock car racing. I watched more open wheel when I watched anything like that. All right, are you ready for the games?
Let's do it.
All right. Top 10 games of the weekend, regardless of sport, in order.
Is UFC in this one?
I don't do that.
We have UFC Macau if you want to wake up at 3 a.m. Yes.
Oh.
It's in Macau.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's I will not be waking up at 3 a.m.
Lovely this time of year, too. All right, we start number 10. Ole Miss at Florida, college football, noon on ABC. Here's the thing. Ole Miss wants to stay in the playoff, right? Florida, after they decided that Billy Napier would get another year because he's done such a great job. Sorry, they didn't want to pay the buyout. And by the way, Billy Napier was a great coach where he was before, which I don't remember. But I think this could end up working out for Florida anyway because they didn't want to pay the buyout. So maybe Florida will turn it around and become really good again. Anyway, they're 5-5. They've won a few, right? They just beat LSU, right? But Ole Miss needs to keep winning. They cannot afford a loss. Ole Miss must win this week and then the Egg Bowl to be in the college football playoff. And then, honestly, I don't know if Ole Miss is going to be in the playoff, but they can't get in there with a loss. So I think that comes in at number 10. Number 9, hey, what did we just talk about? We just talked about the Big Ten. Penn State has a chance to win their best game. This could be their best win of the season. They are on the road at Minnesota. That tells you everything you need to know about the Big Ten. Yes, I know they played Illinois and they beat Illinois earlier in the season, but that was in Happy Valley. They are going on the road to Bloomington. If North Carolina can win there, I expect Penn State can win there. Number 8, Eagles at the Rams. Sunday Night Football on NBC.
Yes, and the Rams are underdogs.
Rams are underdogs. The Rams are 1 game out of first place. Everybody who isn't the Cardinals is 1 game out of first place in that division. Philadelphia, this is a big weekend. If Philadelphia can win this game, it might be the separation they need. Not that I think Washington is going to lose to Dallas, but it might be the separation the Eagles need to, like, if you're Washington, you're saying, we need the Rams to win this game. Because then you're bringing the Eagles back to where Washington wins the second game and you have a chance to win the division again. Maybe I'm just rooting for that because I have a ticket on the Commandos. So Philly at the Rams is number 8. Number 7, Colorado at Kansas. College football, Fox, 3:30 on Saturday. 2 things. 1, I think the Deion Sanders phenomenon is real. Like, he's a good coach. I don't know that they have a great team. He has a great quarterback, and he has the best player in the country. So, this could be, I mean, Travis Hunter is that good. He is the best cornerback in the country, and he's certainly among the best wide receivers in the country. If Colorado wins this and then wins their the season finale, which I'm not even sure who it's against, I think they're going to play in the Big 12 title game. They could end up in the playoff after getting blown out at the beginning of the season by Nebraska. I mean, leveled by Matt Rule and company in Lincoln. So that's the number 7 game of the season of the weekend for me.
Not your pick.
Exactly. Number 6. I'm sorry, where Orlando v. Washington, the NWSL championship game. Right? We talked. Was it a week ago? It was more than a week ago. We had Jessica Charman on. We were talking about, or we had Jake Levy from NC Courage, because they were playing Kansas City. That was in the first round of the playoffs. We're in the championship match. The title match is Saturday at 8 o'clock on CBS, by the way. Orlando has Marta, one of the greatest players in the history of women's soccer, and still playing at a high level. And Washington, the Spirit, Trinity Rodman, a U.S. women's national team superstar. So, by all means, find it and enjoy. That's number 6 on our best 10 games of the weekend ranked. Number 5, BYU and Arizona State. So the only reason I put this up is because this is an elimination game. Loser is not going to be in the Big 12 title game, and the loser will then also have no chance to make the college football playoff, since both will have 3 losses. Either will have 3 losses. They're only getting in if they win the conference championship game anyway, which in many ways makes everything that happens in the Big 12 that much more exciting. Actually, BYU's only got 1 loss. But I don't think they're going to get into the Big 12 into the college football playoff if they have 2 losses. I just don't think they will. So this comes in at game number 5. Number 4, San Francisco at Green Bay in the NFL. This is a 4:25 game on Fox. The 49ers. When you watch them, don't you go, how aren't you better?
Yes. And now they have more injuries.
They're walking injuries,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Look, they play a lot of football. They're in the playoffs basically every year. It might not happen this year. Their path in is to win that division, and it is imminently winnable. But playing at Green Bay, a team that also needs to win. I mean, I don't think Green Bay is going to challenge for the division because I think Detroit's going to win that by 2 games probably. But the Packers are trying to, I don't know, maybe even avoid the Lions. I guess you couldn't do that. They're going to be a wild card team. But, I mean, Green Bay is good, but they got to start playing like that. San Francisco is a must-win. Absolute must-win for the 49ers. That comes in at number 4. Number 3, the game. Harvard, Yale. It's in Cambridge at Harvard. The reason why this is number 3, if Harvard wins, they win the Ivy League. It's it. Dartmouth and Columbia are a game back, and this is the final game of the final weekend of the regular season for Ivy League football. Not to mention that this is one of the traditional season-ending rivalry games in all of college football. We have Cal Stanford, which is called the Big Game. That's where, remember the band out on the field? That was that game, Cal and Stanford. But this is the game. By the way, Yale has won 5 of the last 7 games. Yes, indeed. Number 2, Indiana, Ohio State. We'll find out if Indiana's for real. This game, by the way, is noon on Fox. Find out if Indiana is for real in this game. And Ohio State has not covered themselves in glory in terms of playing really well over the last 4 or 5 weeks. They have had to deal with injuries, a lot to their offensive line. If this is a close game, I think it reflects more on Ohio State than anything, because I think what we're going to find out is that Ohio State isn't quite that good. I am not saying that Indiana is not good. That's not what I'm saying. If Ohio State was what they were supposed to be in the beginning of the season, then they'll win this game by 3 touchdowns. But if this is a close, relatively low-scoring game, and when I say that, I mean kind of in the mid to low 20s, then I think Ohio State isn't that good, and Indiana is okay. But if Indiana keeps it close, the committee will use it as a reason. Oh man, that's a good Indiana team. Look, they have blown out a lot of bad teams. I'll probably never really agree with Chip Patterson on the Hoosiers. And number 1, I mean, maybe it's because we live here. Duke, Arizona tonight in college basketball. There was one other college basketball contender, Baylor, Tennessee, but I decided not to because I don't care. But Duke, Arizona tonight, 10:30 on ESPN.
Late one.
Yes. I don't know if I'm going to stay awake. I'll be awake for it. I might watch it tomorrow.
Right.
But the last time we saw Duke play against a really good team, it was Kentucky, and they lost. Cooper Flagg made some mistakes late. Con Knippel never got his offense going. Duke didn't get to the free throw line. They only turned it over once in the first half and led by 9. They turned it over 6 times in the second half, and we see what happened. Their offense didn't do very well. They were 4 for 24, I think, from 3-point range for the game, and they had their worst offensive performance of the season. Stands to reason the other games that Duke has played weren't very challenging games for them. So, of course, everything looked better. But ultimately, the 3-point shooting is what ended the game. And if you looked at Duke's other games, you saw a team that shoots about 40% from 3-point range as a group. And they shot 4 for 26 is 16.7%. 4 for 24. 16.7%. Arizona's got a loss this year also to the only legitimate team they played. They lost to Wisconsin, and they lost by 15 on the road. So we'll see. But it's going to be fun, and that is the number one game of the weekend for you. Top 10 games of the weekend. We'll do it Tuesday, my Friday next week.
Leading into it.
Exactly.
There you go.
All right, when we come back, we will stretch and place bets next.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
ACT Construction Equipment is proud to be your certified local Takeuchi dealer in Charlotte, Winston-Salem, Asheville, Wilmington, and Myrtle Beach. Takeuchi has long been a world leader in the compact construction industry. Let ACT Construction Equipment help you find the right machine for the job. Our full line of excavators, track loaders, and attachments are designed for low maintenance and high productivity. Visit us online at actce.com to schedule a demo. ACT Construction Equipment, your authorized Takeuchi dealer.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. And every Friday night, FanDuel is giving all customers a bigger payout on select NBA first bets. First bets like who's going to score the first basket, which team will be the first 15 points, so much more. Best of all, you don't have to wait the whole game to see if you win. You're not going to be around all night. You got other things to do. You might be able to win in the first 10 minutes. Friday firsts in the FanDuel app to find your profit boost. FanDuel.com/AGS. Claim your Friday first profit boost today. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Max wager amount applies. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See terms for both offers at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
From the food we eat to the clothes we wear, agriculture touches every corner of our daily lives. I'm Lee Ivey, Director of the Agricultural Institute at NC State University. With the world's population growing, we need people equipped and trained to meet the needs of our future. In our program, we rise to meet that challenge every day, and our students are engaged and invested. Learn more about our program online by searching NC State Ag Institute. 2 years, 1 degree, endless possibilities.
I am Bruno Hinojosa and I live in Asheville. I work in construction and I just enrolled in NC Medicaid. I went to their website, applied, and got covered. Doctor visits, yearly checkups, and even emergency care if I need it. Being a business owner can be stressful at times, but knowing that I got covered, it just takes weight off my shoulders. And I can get the care that I need when I need it at low or no cost. And it's one less thing I need to worry about now.
NC Medicaid is for more people. See if you qualify at medicaid.nc.gov.
You wouldn't ask your mechanic to help stage your property for an open house. As NC Realtors, we're experts who make buying or selling property easier for you. Using the latest technology and armed with local insights, our Realtors help you find properties you would want to call home. We also know which details make your property more attractive to other buyers. From start to finish, our Realtors know. Find out more at ncrealtorsknow.com.
According to the latest report on farmland loss in the United States, North Carolina ranks second in the nation in potential agricultural land lost by the year 2040. If you own land that may be converted from agricultural use, the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services may be able to help. Grants for the purchase of development rights are available through the North Carolina Agricultural Development and Farmland Preservation Trust Fund. Landowners can learn more at ncadfp.org.
Open enrollment for health insurance is here, but don't worry. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance has you covered for all your health insurance needs, including Medicare. And with offices in every county, a trusted, experienced agent is just around the corner, ready to help find a plan that's right for you. Visit ncfbins.com or stop by your local office today. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
This is Adam Gold.
What, a minute 53 into the game? Heat of the moment?
Right.
What kind of heat of the moment is that? We haven't even gotten to simmer yet.
I know. Did someone flip him off in the parking lot? Like, what are we...
Seriously.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Next hour in the Roundtable, our friend Randy Slack from ESPN Wilmington and WRAL TV5's Pat Welter. This should be fun. Engaging young men both. At least to me. All right, let's stretch.
Okay, so this hopefully will be the last time I'll ever talk about the Netflix Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight.
Okay.
But I had to bring this up because someone from a certain state is trying to capitalize on said fight. Would you like to guess which state that is?
Florida.
Yes, it is. So a man
That's the answer to all of those questions, by the way.
It is. It really is. There's one answer.
Yep.
A man in Florida is trying to sue Netflix for all of the problems and the issues that everyone dealt with that night. And Netflix is claiming that over 108 million people watched that fight that night. So
It's amazing, isn't it?
He is trying to say that he's suing for breach of contract and other offenses, and they're not specifying
other offenses.
I'm like, did someone come into your house and
I would
slap
like
you
to
while
know.
you're
I'd like to
watching this?
see a copy of that lawsuit.
Don't understand.
Other offenses.
I don't understand what it is. So yeah, there's that, and I don't know. We don't have time to really talk about that because we have good bets to place.
Place your bets. Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing.
Lost that. Lost that. Lost that. Lost that.
Oh no.
Lost that.
Yeah. It's okay. I didn't do too well
Lost
last
them all.
night. I didn't do too well.
It was a clean
last
sweep.
night. Yeah. There you go. That's one way to have a streak.
It's a clean sweep.
We're changing things up, though, because it's a Friday. So I'm going to kick it off with my UFC Macau, which did not make your top 10 rankings, and I'm so disappointed.
Stunning, isn't it?
For my 3 a.m. fight start, I am going with the co-main event, though. Yan Jinan, or however you say that last name. People just call her Yan because it's easy. She's fighting Tabitha Baby Shark Ricci. This is going to be a great one, but you can't go against Yan. Her competitors have been way more impressive to me than Tabitha's lately, even though she's been on a 2-fight win streak. Give me Yan by the points because I think it's going the distance. That's minus 105, so put it in a parlay.
All right, let's do this. Panthers, Chiefs. We're here.
Mm-hmm.
Panthers plus 10.5. Under 43.5.
Yes.
I see this as a low-scoring game, obviously.
Okay. Right.
And I think the Panthers can score 10 points.
Yeah.
Maybe 13.
That spread worries me. The Chiefs are bad with the spread. They have not done well against the spread.
Panthers plus 10.5, under 43.5.
Yes.
By the way, that is at plus 227.
Nice.
Consider, by the way, that I haven't gotten any of these right yet.
Well, with that game in particular, I'm only going with an anytime touchdown score. Adam Thielen, Bryce Young's safety blanket, is back on the field. So give me Adam Thielen to be an anytime touchdown score. Why he is plus 430, I don't know, but it feels good. So go with that.
All right, here we go. Florida ends Ole Miss's good feeling outright. Florida wins. Plus 320 money line.
Nice.
Gators getting 11.5 points at home. I think Florida wins the game outright.
Okay, well, my last one, I'm also doing a Florida team, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the Daniel Jones-less Giants. Tommy Cutlets and company are not going to get it done. So I think the Bucs and the over 41.5 plus 150.
All right. Manchester United starts the Ruben Amorim era at Ipswich Town with a loss. Give me the Tractor Boys.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and welcome to your Friday. And FanDuel is giving customers a bigger payout on select NBA first bets. So if you're old like me, this means you don't have to stay awake for the end. You'll find out if you win right away. For instance, Mavericks are at the Nuggets. You think I'm going to stay awake for the end of a 9 o'clock game? Come on. All things. Who's going to score the first basket? 1st to 15? Then you can go to sleep. Just look for Friday First in the FanDuel app to find your profit boost. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. Claim your Friday First profit boost today. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Max wager amount applies. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See terms for both offers at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Hi, I'm Marcy Bailey from Fox & Bailey Watch Shop. This Christmas, give a gift that stands the test of time. At Fox & Bailey, we offer an exquisite collection of the finest timepieces and distinct gifts, perfect for that special someone on your list. Whether it's a sleek and modern design or a timeless classic, our expert team will help you find the perfect watch to fit any style. Because at Fox & Bailey, we know a watch is more than just a gift, it's a lasting memory. We proudly carry some of the world's most distinguished watch brands, including Omega, Blancpain, Glashütte Original, Tissot, Nomos, Hamilton, and Norcane. Not to mention that we have the largest collection of certified pre-owned and vintage Rolex watches in North Carolina. Make this holiday unforgettable with a watch or a unique gift from Fox & Bailey, located inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry Village District location in Raleigh.
Hi, it's Jonathan Cotton, and people often ask me, what is the Good Feet store? A shoe store? I respond, we are an art support store. Haven't you spent enough time trying different shoes and all the disposable products that are supposed to make your feet feel better? Go to goodfeet.com to make your appointment today.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9313. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9313. That's 800-575-9313. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
'Tis the season for family and friends. 'Tis the season for gifting. And 'tis the season for making holiday dreams come true. 'Tis the season for using the old-timey contraction 'tis. And 'tis the time of year for holiday scratch-offs. With over $85 million in total prizes, 'tis the best gift of all.
'Tis the season to gift endless joy with holiday scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.06 to 9.95. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
You're listening to The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Because it's Friday, you ain't got no job, and you ain't got to do. It's Friday, gotta get down on Friday.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria on the ones and twos. Roundtable coming up in about 15 minutes. You made it. That's our Friday song.
I know. And
are there other Friday songs?
Oh yeah, there's plenty of Friday songs. I could make a whole playlist of Friday
Could you?
songs. 100%. Yes,
Okay.
there are. Oh, But I have to give a special shout out to people who came by at the Carolina Ale House last night in Cary and said, "Hi, we have fans." So Jake,
you have fans.
Paul,
Jake
Chan,
Paul was there?
No, thank God he was not there. But Jackie, all kinds of people. Jackie Chan, Jake Paul were there.
Look at that.
They all came by and said hi. So thank you for listening. There was a special guy who said he listens to us religiously all the time. He has to drive to Colorado like on the regular. He's got family out there, so he'll specifically make his drives so he can listen to the show. So thank you.
You can listen even in Colorado.
Yeah.
You could stream the show.
You can stream us from anywhere.
You could also get the podcast. Driving to Colorado, that's a commitment.
It is a commitment.
That's a 2-day commitment.
I know. But he's here. He's along for the ride. So,
Awesome.
Yes, it was fun to see everyone. Thank you for stopping by. So, it was awesome.
That is very cool. I'm glad they got a chance to see you.
I know.
I'm glad they didn't get a chance to see me. But because they win. They won. I'm not even joking. They won by seeing you.
Well, thank you. And we got to see the Canes game and NC State play. And I started to watch the Blizzard game. Like, it was all up there. They had all the TVs going, so it was a good time.
Better than
you could see everything.
I could have done on my back porch.
It was the same at my house.
All right, let's wall of sound this up.
The wall of sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
All righty, Georgia Tech beat NC State last night. Let's dig into the Dave Doran post game. And let's just start with the final drive for the Wolfpack, who did get the ball back. Actually, let's do this in order. All right, it's probably better to do this in order. NC State took the lead. It was 29-23. They took the lead. And Georgia Tech had a minute 30 to go down the field, and they did, including back-to-back double-digit yard runs for the other quarterback, not the Haynes King quarterback, Philo, who was awesome, I thought, all game long, based on what I saw, and back-to-back scrambles for touchdowns. Dave Doran on their final drive.
Yeah, I mean, I got the ball to the back, out of the backfield on us. A couple times we were in man coverage, and their back made plays. We weren't able to get to the quarterback and get him on the ground, and then he had a big scramble to win it, And we were in 2-man, 4-man rush, and he broke the pocket, and our 2 safeties have to come up and get him down, and we weren't able to do that.
Yeah, and those 2 plays hurt. It looked like NC State, it almost looked like there was only a 3-man rush. But if you're rushing 4, if you're not blitzing, and I'm not saying you had to blitz, there just seemed to be giant, wide open spaces for Philo to run through. It's just incredible how wide open the middle was. Now, Dave Doran, you got the ball back with, I think, 23 seconds left, and you got it to a point where you could kick a field goal. It was a 58-yarder, a 58-yard attempt, and here's Doran on their final drive.
Felt like with 5 seconds, the field goal was the safest thing to do. If you throw it and they don't get out of bounds, the game's over. Obviously, clock operator has some things to do with that. And the thing I'm disappointed in is after the timeout, after we break the huddle, they come over and tell me they're adding a second to the clock. And, had I known there were 6 seconds, it would have been a different conversation. We could have thrown a quick out, had a little bit more cushion. I don't think people understand how precious every second is. And so I was disappointed in that. There was another time in the game where 3 seconds ran off after a punt. It was 2:43 on the clock, and they let it run down to 2:40, And these seconds matter. And so I say whatever you want about it, but to me that was bad clock operating by them.
All right. 2 things. I think people do understand that seconds matter. For those people who watch football, yeah, I think we get it.
Like 13 seconds.
Right. Individual play. Mm-hmm. We get all of that. So we don't need that. The difference between 6 seconds and 5 seconds is not insignificant. but it is insignificant based on what you said you didn't want to do with 5 seconds. Well, if we run a play and don't get out of bounds, the game is over. With 6 seconds, the same rules apply. So I hate to break it to you, but if you don't get out of bounds with 5 seconds, it's the same as 6 seconds. So, yeah. You could have run a play. You would have had to have run the play very quickly, but if you got out of bounds or the pass was incomplete, you would have been able to line up and kick the field goal. Could you have gotten 10 yards closer? Yes, you could have. Would it have been risky because you do risk an interception, especially the way Bailey was during the game? Yes. I think lining up and kicking the field goal was the proper play. I do. The issue for me wasn't that. The issue for me was how porous NC State's defense was. Let's be honest. State was fortunate that they held Georgia Tech to 3 field goals on consecutive drives during the game. Georgia Tech could have scored a lot more points than they did. But you also gave them. You handed them 2 touchdowns. The pick 6 off I don't even know what that formation was, but you ran a similar formation on the 2-point conversion, and that worked. College football, it does that more than anything. I don't understand your picket fence on your on your extra point tries. I don't get that. I don't. There must be a reason that people do it. I don't understand it, whatever. But I certainly don't understand that stuff during an actual football play. And the pitch forward to KC Concepcion, which was way too close to the quarterback. So if it wasn't perfect, it was always going to be a little difficult to handle. If that's the play you want to run, just hand it to him. Just have C.J. Bailey stick his hand out with the football and hand it to him rather than pitch it forward to him. Because what happened ultimately was he couldn't handle it, popped up in the air, then Bailey popped it up in the air, and it became a pick 6. The other interception by a defensive lineman was also bad. All right, I will move on. Ejiro Evero, Panthers defensive coordinator, on facing Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, he is obviously a great player, one of the best players in our league, and he's in terms of throwing the ball, keeping plays alive, playing off schedule. He could do everything. He's intelligent. He sees the field, and there's really no weakness to his game. And so, it's going to be a tremendous challenge for us, and we all understand that. And so we know there's certain things that we got to do to try to help mitigate some of his greatness. But, this guy's a great player, and we're all aware of that.
All right, now this will be fun. Let's hear how Andy Reid makes us feel like, because I haven't heard this yet. Let's hear how Andy Reid can convince us that the Panthers will be a formidable challenge.
Yeah, so offensively, they obviously have a good running back and a good quarterback. He's playing good football right now. Wide receiver, 17 is a heck of a player. And they've got a very good offensive line. So they're moving the football the last couple games, and then very well. And then defensively, it starts with their front. They've got a good defensive front. Their linebackers fly around. We know one of them from Denver, Jewel. So he knows that defense, and he's the one that's kind of heading things up there.
Oh my. Oh my.
So good.
He was stretching I don't know if he's stretched that much in his life to try to find a perk. The Panther we have a good offense? Okay.
Yep. That's exactly what Andy Reid said. I believe at some point there he was trying to work in let me see those nuggies.
I know. I was going to say he should have thrown a bundle Rooski out there or something.
All right. Now, let's see if Patrick Mahomes can do any better.
yeah, I mean, first off, great defensive coordinator. I played against him when he was in Denver. Very smart, very intelligent, and he kind of gets his guys in the right position. And they have a lot of talented players. I think you've seen that these last few weeks is that they play hard, and they're playing better football as the season goes on. And so it'll be a great challenge for us going there to play them. They're coming off 2 wins and a bye, so they're going to be hungry. And so it'll be a great opportunity for us to go out there and try to find a way to get a win.
Much better on the part of Patrick Mahomes.
I was going to say.
I'm still not convinced, but much better.
That was
on the part
much
of Patrick
better.
Mahomes.
Andy Reid was close to just saying, well, I really like the color of their uniforms.
Man, if they come out in the teal and the white, I think that's a winning combination.
Their mascot is really fun.
Do you have a favorite combination for the Panthers in their uniform?
Ooh, I really like their white uniforms. Like when
all
it's
white.
Yes, the
And
all
the
whites
silver
with
helmet.
the blue. Yeah, that's sharp.
Very
But,
nice.
Yeah.
I actually think their teal is really tight. I like their teal.
Me too.
I dig the black helmet, but because I'm kind of over the whole silver helmet thing.
Yeah.
Just kind of over it.
Yeah.
But I kind of dig the black helmet. So I'd like to see him in all white and the black helmet. I think that might be good.
That would be sharp.
That would be good. All right, let's break. When we come back, we will roundtable it up. Randy Slack and Pat Welter, one from the beach, the other not. Next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Pack Therapy is in session thanks to First Horizon Bank. It's Tim Donnelly from 99.9 The Fan alongside legendary Wolfpack play caller Mike Glennon.
Every episode of Pack Therapy is your chance to get dialed in with inside information on your team.
We'll set you up for every Wolfpack game all season long.
And we'll break down every contest, what went right and what could have worked better.
Plus, special guests to keep Wolfpack hope alive.
Follow and subscribe to Pack Therapy wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
Diamonds Direct's once-a-year pre-holiday store-wide sale is almost over. Now through Sunday, get Diamonds Direct's amazing value price. And for the first time, it's even bigger. Get an extra 20% savings. Virtually everything in store is included. It's the big sale Diamonds Direct is famous for. Hurry, this incredible sale ends Sunday and will not be extended. Get the perfect gift you're looking for at the very best price. For the best selection, quality, and price, shop direct. Diamonds Direct. For details, visit diamondsdirect.com.
This Thanksgiving, Target makes hosting easy with our lowest prices of the season, like Good & Gather Premium Turkey for 79 cents a pound and quality green beans for 55 cents. Or classic stovetop stuffing on sale for $1.99 and delicious Favorite Day apple or pumpkin pie for only $4.49. Plus, get unlimited same-day delivery with a free 14-day trial of Target Circle 360 to make planning even easier. Save more on hosting. Happier holidays from Target. Restrictions apply.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
The Ram Black Friday sales event is going on now, with great deals on a wide selection of powerful and dependable Ram trucks. Right now, finance and get $8,500 total cash allowance on the 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab. Go to ram.com and hurry to your local Ram dealer for this Black Friday offer. $8,500 total cash allowance on the 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab. Financing for well-qualified buyers through Stellantis Financial. Not all customers will qualify. Residency restrictions apply. Take delivery by 12/2/24.
Lowe's knows that to win the job, pros need the best prices. That's why only at Lowe's, MVP's Pro Rewards members can get a volume discount on eligible orders as low as $1,500 at the Pro Desk. That means you get the prices you need to start any job, small or large, because Lowe's knows pros. Valid in-store only. More terms and restrictions apply. Visit Lowe's.com/terms or Pro Desk for details.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
Charlie did not die from an overdose. Charlie was poisoned.
No other family should go through this. It's just horrific.
Go to safe.pharmacy. Use the free tool. Learn if the online pharmacy you're using is safe.
This is Adam Gold.
Georgia needs Alabama to beat LSU right now. And Georgia fans are beside themselves thinking that they have to root for Alabama for anything. So, I mean, it's messy everywhere.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show on a Friday.
This was a special request from the Twitters.
Oh, really? It's a great track.
I know.
One of my favorite Steely Dan
They
songs.
thought that you'd be kicking yourself for not thinking on Black Friday about Steely Dan. It's a great track.
I used it in a. It might have aired already.
Yeah.
Although I think it was a set of commercials I recorded for next week. Yeah, there's a Friday commercial next week that we'll have.
Well, I was going to say, I have to play it today because I'm not going to be here. Neither one of us are going to be here on Black Friday. So.
Well, actually, this show will be here on Friday.
Yes.
It will be in best of variety, but we will be here on Friday.
Right.
So if you're riding around and you want to listen to this program, bless you first. Secondly, it's good stuff. I promise you.
That's why it's the best stuff.
Exactly. All right, it's Roundtable time.
Camelot. It's only a model.
Two of our favorites, returning champions, both. Everybody except one person is a returning champion when we do this. We have Randy Slack from ESPN Wilmington and Pat Welter from WRAL-TV5 Sports. Let's have some fun first. Gentlemen, thank you very much for carving out part of your very important Friday afternoon for this drivel.
I literally had nothing else to do. Thank you.
Excellent.
Great to be here.
Try to beat that, Pat.
Yeah, I am. I'm reeling in the years over here.
Very
I'm
nice.
Feeling old. I'm feeling cold right now, but I'm excited. This will wake me up and get me going for Friday of high school football after this. So I'm good to go.
That is true. We are in the second round of the football state championship games, and shouts to the 8 schools that will converge on Union County for the 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A, although I think the 3A boys soccer is tonight in down near Charlotte, and the other 3 are tomorrow. So I have some kids on my son's club team play at Wakefield, or former teammates play on Wakefield. So good luck to Wakefield in the state championships. All right, the soccer stuff is over. I don't think we're going to get to soccer unless both of you are Manchester United fans, in which case we can make fun of the Red Devils. Let's start with, and I'll start with you, Randy. Panthers, Chiefs. Sell me the possibility that Carolina shocks the world. Sell it to me.
Well, I mean, it's been an internet meme for a few weeks now. Unfortunately, the Bills kind of ruined it for us. But here's the energy we're getting from the Carolina Panthers. First of all, their field looks awesome for this weekend. Second of all, because it's the Panthers, the NFL's not going to have it in the bag to have the good referees that always win the games for the Chiefs, so that's good. And really, for the Panthers, they haven't lost a game in almost a month. And this game is going to have, like, first-round March Madness energy, where, like, the 15 seed is up at the half, or it's close at the half, and then everybody just kind of comes together and just immediately starts rooting for them. That's the vibe we're going to get this weekend for the Panthers. Now, what we're going to do with, the last possession or two when they only have one timeout left and they're kind of scrambling to get the ball in bounds, We'll see. But I think this could be a really fun game on Sunday.
I appreciate. I thought you would have gone UMBC on this if you were going to bring up the NCAA tournament. Also, before I flip this to Pat, I am curious. Doesn't the field look the same all the time?
I don't know. Like the shading looks cool, and the graphics, and it looks nice. It looks good. It looks fine, Matt.
Okay. It's okay. I hate with a white hot passion fake grass. Hate it.
Yeah.
But but maybe it does look good. All right, Pat, can you sell a Panthers win here?
Well, I'm going to have to reach deep into my bag of tricks here from my days as a computer salesman, but I'll sell you on this at least. Yeah, Apple Store. What's up?
Excellent.
I think back to a game when the Chiefs played the Raiders last year, a game that nobody thought the Raiders could win, and somehow they did. And the Chiefs have kind of flirted with disaster here week after week after week. We saw them finally lose to the Bills last week. Maybe a little bit more regression to the mean is on the way. I mean, if you're going to overlook any team in the NFL, it's the one with the smallest quarterback in Bryce Young. And if there's a possibility here, I certainly wouldn't be taking it. But look, hey, they got a coach fired in New Orleans. They got a quarterback benched in Daniel Jones. What could happen here? Who knows?
They got a quarterback released in Daniel Jones. And it's going to get me to the follow-up on that. Look, the Chiefs have played with their food all year long. Now, for the most part, Kansas City's schedule has been pretty tough. Like, they have done their work and getting to 9-0 really against, almost every team has been a good team that they have played. So it's even more impressive that they could have been so ordinary and still be 9-0. It was going to happen. Buffalo isn't ordinary. Playing in Buffalo isn't normal. So there were a lot of things. I'm just, you know what a raucous atmosphere it is at Bank of America Stadium, how difficult opposing teams find it at Bank of America Stadium. Especially, why are we laughing? I was trying to sell it.
I'm just thinking back to all the red I saw right before Matt Rule got fired when, teams like the 49ers and even the Arizona Cardinals came into town.
They just knew he was going to Nebraska.
Yeah, of course. He drafted Chuba Hubbard, so we owe him.
They did. All right, his name has already come up. Daniel Jones was released by the Giants. Nobody's going to claim him because nobody wants to claim even the last 2 years of that contract. So when the waiver claims are over, Pat, would you sign Daniel Jones?
No. This is like being in the movie Inception. You're in a nightmare and you're in a dream. You're trying to figure out if it's real, and then you wake up, and then you're still in it again. Because going from Bryce Young to Daniel Jones is just a recurring nightmare. Like when they played the Giants in Germany, my take on that game was like, you're looking in the mirror here. If you stick with Bryce Young, even with the incremental development that he's making, you're looking at your next 6 years as the New York Giants. And I knew years ago, I think a lot of us did, you could see there was a glimmer of hope with Daniel Jones. He made the playoffs, but anybody who watched football knew he wasn't the guy, was never going to be the guy. And here we are. They've wasted 6 years and a lot of great players and maybe another coach on the roster. So bringing in Daniel Jones would just be too much insult to injury, I think, for this fan base to take.
Real quick, before I ask Randy to answer that, Bryce Young and Daniel Jones looking in the mirror. Bryce is standing on a milk crate, right?
Yeah, at least, looking up at Daniel Jones. I guess with Bryce Young, he does a better, look on the sidelines than Daniel Jones. That's never done him any favors.
Well, that's a New York Giant thing. Eli Manning had resting derp face for his entire career. Randy, I'm going to shape the question a little differently about Daniel Jones, because if it were me, I have no interest in Daniel Jones as a starting quarterback. I never thought he was starting quarterback material, even at Duke. I do think he could be a fantastic backup, a fantastic number two. He's I mean, decent at best at throwing the ball, but because of his athleticism, he can get you out of games, and even in a one-off start, you might be able to create an offense that will work for him. I actually like him as a career backup as opposed to being a starter. Would you approach that with Daniel Jones?
See, I thought you were leading me into could he play in the secondary for the Panthers, because we've seen that now he can apparently be a scout team safety on the back end using his athleticism there. No, I think if he's going anywhere as a backup, it's probably going to be somewhere where they like to use athletic quarterbacks. Maybe he could be the backup in Philadelphia or something like that. If I'm Carolina, you don't need to go after Daniel Jones right now. Maybe in the offseason. But again, being a good backup quarterback in the NFL is like being a good congressman. You just don't have to really do anything. Don't really step out one way or the other. Just kind of be there and make a career out of it. Right now, I don't know if Daniel Jones can be that guy as a backup quarterback.
All right, all good answers. All right, do we all agree that, the statistical data from this season and even last season notwithstanding, let's just start from a working proposition that Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. Do we agree?
The numbers would disagree right now. But
well, yeah, like I said,
the resume
the numbers this year, the numbers last year do not back up Patrick Mahomes as the best quarterback in the league. A Super Bowl did. It's not, one guy doesn't win a Super Bowl. But, all right, well, it does sound like there's some gray areas, so I'll just ask the question this way. Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen, Randy?
To me, this is easy. To me, it's Josh Allen. Lamar, if we're talking about quarterbacks, you mentioned Patrick Mahomes being maybe the best guy in the league, and a lot of that's doing with winning. Lamar's lost some dumb games this year, losing to Cleveland, losing to the Raiders. As good as he's looked statistically, and he's looked very good, this is by far the best supporting cast he's ever had. He's never had a guy like Derrick Henry in the backfield with him. So, again, looking great, but he's getting a lot of help. We're seeing Josh Allen do it with less and less people. He loses his big-time target, and he continues to play pretty well outside of the Houston game. I think he's maybe, if we're talking MVP this year, I think he's going to be the guy.
Pat?
I think both of these guys are in a position similar to where, like, Drew Brees and Peyton Manning were to Tom Brady, where they hadn't won the Super Bowl yet, but once they do, it completely changes the way we look at them forever. And in Lamar's defense, I think he's evolving into something right now that we've never seen before. I mean, I was watching the Steelers game, and he had an incompletion that was one of the most spectacular plays I've ever seen in my entire life. The way he's buying time right now is something that you just don't see. And I think it's a little bit of a dance with the devil where, how long can you bet on that kind of improvisation in the playoffs? And that's what's hurt him in the big moments. But I think if the Ravens defense can get together, if you took that out of the equation, Lamar will be running away with this right now with the offense he's put up this season.
Yeah, I think here's what's funny to me is that it really depends on which game was just played and which quarterback played well. Because literally, if you made a list of how many times people said Lamar Jackson's the best quarterback in the league, Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the league, it would be even. And it would be like we've seen that 8 times already on one side and 8 times already on the other. Because they take turns, it seems, doing ridiculous.
By the way,
I think they're the same quarterback.
Evan McPherson makes his kicks, then Joe Burrow's the MVP, if we're being honest here.
You're such a honk.
Joe Burrow might not even make the playoffs.
You are such a honk.
I know.
But no, I love.
Okay.
All right, so you are more than welcome as the Cincinnati Bengals fan in this conversation, Randy. You are more than welcome. And actually, I don't know who Pat's allegiances lie. The wand chooses the wizard. So, Pat, are you a fan of any NFL team specifically?
I'm a Steelers fan.
Okay.
Growing up, but at this point, I mean, I still buy the Ravens in that division, even after that game. Like what you just said, we're prisoners of the moment of what we just saw.
I agree,
and I think I've seen enough from Lamar to have a little bit of faith that he can take the next step in the playoffs this year. And it's similar with Allen too. Like they keep getting it's tough when you have to go through Patrick Mahomes' road every year.
Yeah, well, that's all roads go through Kansas City, even if they're on the road, but they will not be. They'll be at home this year, I'm pretty sure of it. But here's my statement about Joe Burrow. He is not the game-changing quarterback that we want him to be. He is a great quarterback, but he will not be great unless he has great receivers. He will not turn average. He will not be Aaron Rodgers, who will turn Jordy Nelson into nearly a multi-millionaire. He won't do that. He won't turn those receivers into great receivers. But if he's got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, he is awesome, better than everybody else.
He hasn't had both of them most of this season. He's only had one or the other, and they've won with one or the other this year.
So he needs one of them.
Well, we'll see. We'll find out this year they're going to lose one, and then in 2 years they're going to lose the other guy if they can't pay him. And we'll find out. Right now he still had those guys, similar to how Mahomes early on had Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. And then he won without those. Well, he won with the corpse of Kelce. And
That's
no
right.
Hill.
That's right. He's won Super Bowls without Tyreek Hill. He doesn't need great receivers. By the way, that's a lot of that is Andy Reid's play design, right? A lot of it is Andy Reid's play design. Where, hey, why is that player wide open and nobody is even in the camera for like 4 seconds? How does that even happen? And that, of course, is having the best head coach in the National Football League right now, and that is Andy Reid. And do we have any disagreement on that statement? No.
Wow, I'm good with that. No, I don't think so.
He is the best. All right, I'll get back to the NFL if we have time. But let's just because I know you guys are both huge Hurricanes fans. So look, there's really no complaints at 14-5-0. But there's a long-term injury right now to Frederick Anderson. So, Pat, should the Hurricanes right now be on the phone about a goaltender? And if so, I don't need a name. I need a type.
Well, I mean, in a way you could say, do they have the type already? I mean, they had Spencer Martin in place because injuries are kind of built into the equation when you have Freddie Anderson,
right.
And you have a second year, not second year, but he was considered a rookie last year in Pyotr Kochetkov. But I think the difference, what we have now is they've already been through this, right? Like last year, Freddie was out with the blood clot issue, and that was one that you didn't even know a timetable on because it was more of a health issue than an injury issue. And at least this with the lower body, with Freddie, that you could kind of apply modern and previous, medical science to it. And I think this is an opportunity. Now, of course, you got to be on the phone. You got to be looking for a backup to the backup. And Martin, other than the shutout, has given up 4 goals in every game he's played, which is not a promising sign. But I think, the difference in this year to last year is that Pyotr has taken a step forward. And I think for this team to reach its ceiling, he needs to take another further step. And this is an opportunity. This is a moment to let him kind of show that he could be the guy in the playoffs, and it also could be an advantage because if he shows that he can't be, then you can be aggressive at the real trade deadline to maybe bring in a true veteran.
Randy, I know how big a hockey fan you are. You have Walt Ruff on your show all the time. So should the Hurricanes be on the phone for a goalie?
Look, man, if you're worried about your backup goalie right now, and that's the only thing of need for a team, you're doing pretty good right now in the hockey season. I don't think it's a concern right now. We'll see what Freddie Anderson's going to look like if he can come back and what he's going to look like late this year. But, again, you need 2 goalies in the postseason. When I was in Pittsburgh, they had Fleury and Murray, and there was the dueling chants that was hilarious. But, again, if you're worried about the backup goalie right now, things are going pretty good, and we can look at that later, bringing in a veteran, but I don't think it's that big of a concern right now.
That's where we all part company because I think it's an issue. And we're really thinking about, at best, the third goalie. We're not even you might want to find a goalie who might even slot in front of Spencer Martin. But Frederick Anderson will come back at some point. And maybe he comes back and he looks like the Freddie Anderson who played his last 10 games of the regular season a year ago, which was Vezina-like. I mean, he was amazing. He essentially took the job of playoff goaltender from Pyotr Kochetkov with the way he played in his last 10 starts. Kochetkov was good, but Anderson was amazing. So he basically stole the job back. Kochetkov has 2.5 months, maybe, to really put his hands around this job. I don't think he's done it yet, personally. I think he has been okay. I don't think he has been great. I think there have been too many bad nights. And I think the head coach believes the same thing. That is Pat Welter and Randy Slack. Pat from WRAL TV5. He is handsome. Randy Slack, also handsome. From ESPN Wilmington.
And Adam, I should say, I got a podcast in the works now. You guys got me moving. We're working on it behind the scenes here at WRAL, and I want to promote real quick. We got the Canes on our air on WRAL Monday and Friday.
That's right.
Thanksgiving week.
That's right. Yep. How do we celebrate this on Monday?
By watching WRAL. And
no, we got to. All right, you're gonna have to come on and celebrate with me.
Of course.
All right, I'll bug you Monday.
If I can promote, I have a comedy show at the Salty Hog. I'm headlining tomorrow night. Very excited. In Sneaps Ferry, tickets are just $10. Also on our TV station, WILT Channel 10 in Wilmington, we are also showing the Carolina Hurricanes game.
Look at this! Look at this! And you could tell all of your Joe Burrow is the MVP jokes at your comedy show tonight.
Are we done or no?
Yep. Thank you, Randy Slack and Pat Welter. That was fun. Appreciate you guys. I'll talk to you later.
Walk it off. See ya.
Oh, man. He is such a Bengals fan. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you should be.
I kind of miss it. I miss being a fan of a team. Well, I have other interests. I'm a Mets fan.
Yeah.
I'm a Hurricanes fan.
Hasn't been the greatest time being a Panther fan, but we try.
I'm a Liverpool. I've been fans of bad teams. That's okay too.
Yeah, it is. It just hurts.
It makes the winning,
that
if it ever happens, all that sweeter.
It's very foreign.
All right. We'll break. We'll come back. We'll rewind next.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Are you looking for a 2-year hands-on agricultural degree while still gaining the university experience? I'm Lee Ivey, Director of the Agricultural Institute at NC State University. We offer 6 associate's degrees that span the agricultural industry and set our students up to meet their goals. Come live on campus, learn on our farms, and be a part of the NC State community. Learn more about our program online by searching NC State Ag Institute. 2 years, 1 degree, endless possibilities.
Oh, the NBA is back, and FanDuel is America's #1 sports book for a reason, because they want you to catch all the action. And right now, FanDuel giving everyone 3 months of NBA League Pass. All you got to do to catch every tip-off, every buzzer beater, every dunk is place any $5 wager on the NBA and get 3 months of NBA League Pass, courtesy of FanDuel and me. FanDuel.com/AGS. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel. FanDuel.com/AGS. FanDuel is an official sportsbook partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. After 3-month free trial, the full price of League Pass will be automatically charged monthly. Cancel anytime. No refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Limit 1 pass per customer. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Open enrollment for health insurance is here. But don't worry, North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance has you covered for all your health insurance needs, including Medicare. And with offices in every county, a trusted, experienced agent is just around the corner, ready to help find a plan that's right for you. Visit ncfbins.com or stop by your local office today. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
It's that time of year. We can't wait to visit our loved ones. Don't let COVID-19 and the flu stop you. So make sure you don't have to cancel on those you love the most by getting your flu and COVID vaccines. Both flu and COVID vaccines have been updated to fight against the new virus strains that will continue to spread this fall and winter. Don't wait. Get your updated shots today.
Get protected this season with updated COVID-19 and flu shots. Visit myspot.nc.gov and find yours today.
You wouldn't ask your mechanic to help stage your property for an open house. As NC Realtors, we're experts who make buying or selling property easier for you. Using the latest technology and armed with local insights, our Realtors help you find properties you would want to call home. We also know which details make your property more attractive to other buyers. From start to finish, our Realtors know. Find out more at ncrealtorsknow.com.
According to the latest report on farmland loss in the United States, North Carolina ranks second in the nation in potential agricultural land lost by the year 2040. If you own land that may be converted from agricultural use, the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services may be able to help. Grants for the purchase of development rights are available through the North Carolina Agricultural Development and Farmland Preservation Trust Fund. Landowners can learn more at ncadfp.org.
AARP reminds you that November is National Family Caregivers Month. While family caregivers should be celebrated every day, this is the time to recognize and honor those taking care of their loved ones by raising awareness around caregiving issues, educating communities, and working to increase support for our nation's caregivers. Learn about this topic and more by listening to AARP Without Limits. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
This is Adam Gold.
Dan on Twitter, who you got? Robert Plant or Elvis Presley? That is actually very difficult because I don't want to disrespect Elvis Presley. I think it's Elvis. It's very, very close. And that is an incredible question.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria on the ones and twos. We got Panthers Chiefs this weekend. Hurricanes are in Columbus to play the Blue Jackets tomorrow night. See, Columbus scored 7 goals on Tampa yesterday.
Yes.
Or 2 days. Was it yesterday? Yesterday.
I think so.
7 goals.
I know. And the Blackhawks beat the Panthers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Odd.
Right?
So important to pick up 2 points for Carolina where you can get them, right? And get those 2 points tomorrow night. I think the Hurricanes do a very good job of not overlooking anybody. I really do. So it will not be, if they lose the game, if they don't get 2 points, it will be either the goaltending wasn't good, which every chance that could happen. I am not as bullish on what Carolina has put out there in terms of goaltending so far this year. And Freddie Anderson was great in his 4 starts. I think it's a significant loss that Anderson is not there. He was not going to get on a run of games like he has in the past. They were not going to play him exclusively for like 2 weeks. Rod was going to rotate him back and forth.
Yeah.
You know, you get this game, you get it was going to be a total rotation. At some point in the second half of the year, somebody would have taken over as the primary, but it still would have basically been a timeshare. He didn't want to do that when Anderson went out, and then he realized, and this is the concern, that Kochetkov, for whatever reason, isn't ready to play every game. He's not ready to be Cam Ward. Tons of potential, but not yet ready to be that. So what we're going to see is, I think Piotr will play a few more games than Martin, but rather than it be a rotation, it'll be, back and forth, and then Kochetkov might get 2 starts in a row. might even get a third start in a row. But I don't think it's going to go beyond that. So we're going to see a lot of Spencer Martin over the next 2.5 months. And unless Pyotr Kochetkov becomes rock solid basically every night, which I don't see, the Hurricanes, I think, are going to need a goalie.
Yeah, that would be hard.
So this is not, I don't think Spencer Martin is capable, or I don't think Pyotr Kochetkov is capable. But if we are being honest about the performance of Martin and Kochetkov, we know what Spencer Martin is, right? He is an AHL starter and NHL fill-in. There is no crime in that. Pyotr Kochetkov, so far this season, I think he's made 12 starts. I think 12 starts for Kochetkov. He's 10-2. The wins have been great. But in terms of his performance, I think he's 7-5 in his performance. I think there are 5 games that he's played that probably not good enough if we were talking about a playoff game. Not good enough. Like the game against Philadelphia, the Ryan Poehling goal in the second period, that can't go. That is an unacceptable goal. And that is the problem, I think, the Hurricanes right now are dealing with. If Kochetkov was playing at a higher level, and he's been good, but he hasn't been great. If he is playing at a higher level, then the Hurricanes probably would be able to rely on him more over this stretch. But right now, he's just not there. If I were the Hurricanes, I'm not looking for a number one goalie. Like, I know this, go get John Gibson of the Anaheim Ducks. I don't know. I just need somebody who can play in the NHL. I need a backup goalie. That's what I need. I need somebody who can back up what they need to do. Go find an Antti Raanta. I'm not asking for great. I'm asking go find Antti Raanta, who is otherwise right now busy in Switzerland. Because the best case scenario for the Hurricanes is that Kochetkov and somebody not named Spencer Martin are a timeshare until Frederik Andersen comes back. That's the best case scenario for the Hurricanes. Let's not overrate our own players. Every team falls into that trap. Let's rewind. But real quick, Dallas on Monday, Rangers on Wednesday, Florida on Friday, at Florida on Saturday. That's a week of hockey.
Yeah, so smooth sailing from here on.
Hurricanes legitimately good.
They are.
Those teams, Dallas is going, oh my gosh, we got to play Carolina on Monday. Rangers are saying the same thing. So is Florida.
They're going to be great matchups.
People forget. It's not Carolina who's worried about playing Dallas, the Rangers, and Florida. Those teams are worried about the Hurricanes. They've seen it too many times. Hurricanes are legitimately good. All right, little hoops to take us into the weekend before we gain 10 pounds. All right, let's get Brian Geisinger in here in the rewind. Let's start with tonight's game. Duke at Arizona. What are your thoughts going in?
A lot. I'm interested in a lot of things. I mean, the glass sort of feels like a battleground area. You know, it's a big Arizona team, and they can really mash you on both sides of the glass. Like they clean up the defensive glass. They're excellent offensive rebounders. So it feels like a big game for Cooper Flagg. Come on, Malawat, Malik Brown, like the front court, Patrick Ngungba, who played pretty well when he in limited minutes against Wofford the other day. Like those guys have to be strong and physical and good position, but also play above the rim against those guys. Arizona's got pretty awesome guards. Like Jaden Bradley's one of the fastest guys in the country. Caleb Love, obviously, like, the shot making is always like hit or miss, but you can get hot and just take your entire scheme and throw it over the top rope. And a guy like KJ Lewis is just like really, really good, like one of the better guards. I guess in the Big 12 is where Arizona is now. So, can you contain those guys? Can you keep them off the offensive glass? Maybe remember Trey Townsend, who's like playing the 4 for Arizona this year, was on that Oakland team that State beat. The tournament last year. Can like really post up and face up and do stuff with the ball too. But for me, like, how does Duke handle a road game early in the season? And what do the shots look like for Con Knipple? Like, can they get him some good looks? Can you get Caleb Foster going downhill? And just sort of like, what are Duke's coverages looking like against those guards, Lewis, Bradley, and Love, like in terms of pick and roll ball screen coverages?
Brian Geisinger, who joins us every Friday. Let's talk about, and I'm looking forward. This is my number one game of the weekend. We're headed to Richmond for a soccer event, but I will be there in time. If I can stay awake to watch this game, I will. Otherwise, I will catch up on it before Monday because it's for Duke. The 3 games against, Maine, Army, and Wofford, those are great. Those are practices to Duke. In fact, Duke's practices might be more challenging than those 3 games, and that is not a knock. Duke has a ton of great players. But the games against Kentucky are the games we need. Even if you lose them, you learn about you. You don't really learn as much in those blowout wins. You learn in the tougher moments. This Arizona game out at McHale Center is going to be a tougher moment. And as we transition NC State, it brings me to the fact that NC State hasn't really learned about themselves because I don't think we're going to see, again, a similar team on the other bench as NC State.
No, I don't think so. Just you're going to have to wait a few more days here before the schedule really does start to pick up for State. Less than a week from now, we'll have their result against Purdue, which had a big win against Alabama last weekend. And obviously Texas, which beat Syracuse in a pretty close game yesterday. But no, tonight sort of feels like another just a good sort of like early season, sort of like training camp type game. I think there's been some good stuff so far. You want to see him get healthy. Trey Parker didn't play in the last game. Dennis Parker Jr.'s dealt with some injuries. They've got some other, Mike James is hurt. So they've had some guys missing time, but I think overall, they've looked pretty good. The transition game has been awesome so far. Michael O'Connell, I looked at the stat earlier this week on, I believe it was transition possessions. When Michael O'Connell was in the game, NC State's shooting 87% from
That's good
on transition opportunities. When O'Connell's in there, obviously his ability to play with pace and pass and hit ahead is pretty special. I think there are a couple sort of like interesting, I wouldn't paint them as red flags yet, but State, they're really not shooting a lot of threes right now.
That's
under 30%. I wrote about this at Pack Pride this week. They're getting just 7.
All right, so that's Brian Geisinger, who's on with us all the time. We get into the 3-pointers. Go find that in the Best of the Adam Gold Show. Go find the rest of that conversation. Because my 2 problems with NC State, I talked about it the other day, the unwillingness to attempt threes. 14 is about anywhere from 5 to 10 shorter than it should be. You should be around 20 to 25 3-point attempts. If you figure you're going to shoot 65, 70, to anywhere from 60 to 70 shots in a game, you should be attempting, I would think, at least a third from 3-point range. You got to get the other team to guard the whole floor. So the lack of 3-point attempts bothers me, and I'm a little concerned about the rebounding. But again, it's hard to gauge against these teams. They don't push you, they don't test you like similar teams will. Even if you're playing a bad team from your own league, let's just say Cal's bad. I have no idea if they are or not. At least the athletes are going to be similar. They're going to test you in ways that William and Mary don't. All right. I want everybody to have a great weekend, including you, Victoria. We will see you back here on Monday for Thanksgiving feast or something. Bye.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. And since it's Friday, we're giving people a bigger payout on NBA first bets. First Bets lets you get in on the action and then get out to the club, since I know you want to go to the club. Nets at 76ers. Game starts. Win a first bet. First bucket, first to 15 points. Who knows? Who cares? You're already dancing. FanDuel.com. Claim your Friday first in the FanDuel app to find your profit boost. That's awesome. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold, an official sportsbook partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Max wager amount applies. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See terms for both offers at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877